Good afternoon and welcome here to Downey, California. Zach Anderson Yoxhammer with you guys once again here on the K-Drats Broadcasting Network. The K-Drats taking on the East LA Dodgers here at St. Pius X, St. Matthias Academy in Downey. Yes, the East LA Dodgers here in Downey. K-Drats coming in 5-3 overall after their loss last night to the East LA Dodgers. To the Arroyo Seco Sentinels last night in Pasadena at Jackie Robinson Memorial Field in Brookside Park. They lost 10-2. A pair of games they lost yesterday, won a non-Sunset League matchup that they dropped in the first one, 13-4, but the only one that counted towards the division was last night's matchup, which they still lost 10-2. The only game this week the K-Drats have scored first, in which they put up 2 runs in the first inning after a 2-out Andy Vega walk and a RBI double back-to-back from Tito Robles and the other one from Matt Gastopoulos back-to-back. They're up 2-0. Then the offense was dormant for the rest of the evening before the Sentinels slowly scratched their way back in the game and eventually ran away with it in what ended up being somewhat of a laugher for the Sentinels. For the East LA Dodgers, well, they come in 1-4-1 overall. Their only win against the Arroyo Seco Sentinels 5 days ago in a 5-4 back-and-forth seesaw affair. But since they've lost a few in a row, they have won a couple of games in a row as well as the K-Drats take on the East LA Dodgers. In just a few moments, we're waiting for the umpires to get here, but I believe we must take a moment for the national anthem to be played. We'll step aside when we come back. First pitch and the starting lineups on the K-Drats Broadcasting Network. Here we go. First pitch just a few moments away here in Downey, California. The K-Drats taking on the East LA Dodgers. As the two teams are looking to have a standoff at the line, as the umpires are looking to say, hey, let's play no standoff, as the East LA Dodgers won the national anthem standoff. First time I've been a part of what seems to be a weak standoff at the line. And Andy Vega explaining to the fans what the standoff is between both teams. But the East LA Dodgers, I believe, have won this national anthem standoff. But we're losing daylight, folks, so let's just get this game started as the 5-3 K-Drats coming in against the 1-4-1 East LA Dodgers. And what seems to be, for the third time, the K-Drats have faced all 3 of the opening week Sunset League pitchers of the week after they face today's East LA Dodgers starter, Dylan Chalmers, out of Lassen Community College. That's up in Susanville, California. Way up north there in California near the Oregon border and also near the border on the east side for California. K-Drats have something a little bit different for the lineup here today. As we set you guys up offensively for the K-Drats, this is what Joe Magno sets up for his lineup today. Not leading things off is Julian Francois. The first time this season he is not leading off. So it's Jonathan Enriquez who leads things off in center field. Joe Ayala, who is hitting second, and in left field, Andy Vega hitting third. Tito Robles hitting fourth. Matt Kostopoulos, who hit a ball as hard as he's hit all summer, looking to continue that hot streak into today. Now there's Jason Bush, the new kid from New Mexico State, getting to start today. Calix Armijo, Kyle Rawlings, Zach Sarando, and Jacob Ramirez. That's the batting order as the K-Drats go 1 through 10 today. And on the mound will be Bruce Yamamoto. But the K-Drats on the road here, taking on the East LA Dodgers in Downey. This is what they tried out for their lineup. It's Dylan Chalmers on the mound. Left to right on the infield, it looks like this. At third base, it is Jesus Sanchez. Shortstop, you have Edmund Morales. Then Tom Googly. And at first base, Hernandez. As the first pitch here at 4:38, as we're about 8 minutes late here today, misses low for ball one to Enriquez from Chalmers. So Enriquez starts things off. The K-Drats have yet to have a leadoff hitter to start the game get on base. Looking to change that here today. So Enriquez gets the 1-0 from Chalmers, and he takes a fastball for a strike, 1-1. Enriquez, Ayala, and Vega due up to hit here in the first. Breezy evening here on this Saturday afternoon as we go into evening. Chalmers set from the stretch. The 1-1 is cut on and missed. 1-2. Hoping to get all 9 innings today before sunlight. We lose it as Chalmers is set. His 1-2 comes home. That one just misses. 2-2. The rest of the lineup looks like this for the Dodgers. Left, right in the outfield, it's Dickinson, Cunningham, and Perez. In the outfield, as Nieto catches the 2-2, and Enriquez fouls it straight back off the screen, and he stays alive. All the K-Drats need is something good to go in the first inning. They got that yesterday, 2 runs. Couldn't use that to take advantage of an early lead. They've been playing from behind this week. 2-2 as they look to finish off the weekend with a strong stint against the Dodgers as Enriquez swings and misses at a fastball upstairs for strike 3 and the first out of the inning. And still the K-Drats searching for their first leadoff hitter to get on base to start a game. So 1 out, nobody on. Up steps Joe Ayala, who gets the start in left field today. Chalmers, who works from the stretch, not a lot of herky-jerky movement. Just takes a long look to sign, comes set. Simple leg movement, long arm release, and comes home with it. Fastball popped up. This one gets out of play, 0-1. Ayala, then Vega, 1 out, nobody on. You're on the audio network for the K-Drats this summer. Chalmers 0-1 is a fastball that misses upstairs, 1-1. Chalmers, one of 3 Sunset League pitchers of the week to open Sunset League play. And the K-Drats have faced all 3 of those Sunset League pitchers of the week. 2 of those outings came against the K-Drats as Ayala swings and misses, 1-2. Julian Eskridge of the OC Pirates. Humberto Chiquito of the South Bay Sliders. Of course, the K-Drats have gone 1-1 in those games, and neither of those pitchers of the week factored into the decision. 1-2 to Ayala is lined foul down the first base line. He'll stay alive. 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on here in the top of the first, just getting started. I believe it was another late arrival of the umpires, as it was on Thursday in San Diego, although not a 40-minute delay, just a few minutes. 1-2. Ayala takes called strike 3, and the second strikeout for Chalmers, who in his first start of the summer went 5 innings. 2 outs, nobody on for the K-Drats. That's what they had yesterday, but they still scored 2. A walk for Vega and then back-to-back doubles for Robles and Costopoulos. Chalmers, in 5 innings, gave up no earned runs, struck out 9, and allowed 2 hits against the Ventura County Bucks last week, as Vega takes a low first pitch strike, 0-1, much to the dismay of the K-Drats and their fans here in attendance down the third base line. As Vega takes another strike at the knees, Chalmers, good downhill movement. Nice little grin on his face, rocking the jewelry. I have to take that off later, but for now gets to rock the bling. 0-2 looking to strike out the side, and Vega pops it up, foul out of play, and he'll get to do it again. 0-2, 2 outs, nobody on. Chalmers struck out Enriquez swinging, and Ayala went down looking on a fastball. Not as deep as yesterday's ballpark, but still might be a tough venue to hit one out. The 0-2 to Vega. He takes upstairs, 1-2. He reaches, Robles on deck. Awaiting this 1-2. Vega stands in the box. A little further back in the box than normal. As Chalmers 1-2 is a little low and a bit outside, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Gorgeous day in Downey. Blue skies, not a cloud in sight as we end this Saturday. Vega chops it to third. This one will be fielded cleanly. A strong throw across the diamond is instead thrown away against the wall. Vega hustles to second. The throw from Nieto will not get Vega at second base, advancing on the throwing error from third. The error charged to Sanchez. Jesus Sanchez playing at third. Throws it away at first base. That was Hernandez who couldn't scoop it out. That one went all the way to the wall, and Vega immediately turned and ran to second base. So an E5, and the K-Drats here in business with 2 outs in this first inning. Here comes Tito Robles, who stands in the back of the box, about as far back in the box as you can, just towing that white line in the batter's box. And Chalmers battling against it here. Runner at second, 2 outs after the error at third. And Robles takes low in the dirt, 1-0. Nieto behind the dish has to be a wall, not allowing Vega to get to third. Although Chalmers hasn't thrown anything away just yet. It's been strike, strike, strike. Here's the pitch to Robles, who takes low again, same exact spot, 2-0. Nice little ballpark here. Netting in left center and in right center that you have to hit over for a home run, but in dead center it's cages for softball as Robles takes the 2-0 and takes it for a strike. 2-1. Firm fastball. Just looking for something to hammer into the left field side. 2-1. Chalmers ready. Robles takes outside, 3-1. And Vega steals third when nobody was looking, but now Vega in a heap and injured at third base. And now there's a fight. Now there's a fight down the third base line, and now people are brawling down the third base line. The benches have cleared. Both teams going back and forth. The Dodgers and the K-Drats have gone at it. A brawl. Both teams have to be separated. Some words were exchanged between Sanchez and Vega, who took a moment to get up. And now there's a brawl that's gone. A brawl. And now both guys yelling back and forth right in front of us down the third base line. Coaches screaming. Everybody frustrated. And folks, this is only going to get fun as tomorrow, both teams playing tomorrow. Everybody's yelling. Some sort of words going back and forth. Magno versus the East LA Dodgers coach. Everybody turned away. Then Vega stole third. Something happened and was said between Sanchez and Vega at third. Then punches were thrown. Words exchanged between everybody. Both teams and the umpires looking to exchange the piece. Fireworks here in the beginning. of this Saturday evening matchup between the East LA Dodgers and the K-Drats. And as I mentioned, tomorrow morning on Sunday, they come to Long Beach in Clark Field, as now the umpires will come together to discuss who is available, who is ejected, and see and sort out this situation that has just went crazy. 3-1 as Robles is at the plate. Vega standing at third, at least he will be, or someone will take his place, as punches were thrown between Jesus Sanchez and Andy Vega. And the umpires are done, as words have been exchanged right in front of us, as the umpire are saying, and now one K-Drat has been ejected. Looks like it's James Brandon who's yelling. So there's at least one or two K-Drats being ejected right in front of us. Andy Vega with blood on his nose after some punches being thrown. So now everybody has to be settled, once from one side, one to the other. Everybody's trying to figure things out. The umpire's trying to sort the situation in punches thrown here in Downey. Looks like James Brandon has been ejected for the K-Drats. That's one K-Drat at the moment who is having words, and the umpire said no more. Both teams huddled on their respective sidelines. One down the first base line, the K-Drats down their third base dugout looking to regroup. And fireworks as now some guys laughing, and this was all right in front of us. It was Vega and Sanchez. Some words were said. Sanchez said one thing, and the East LA Dodgers head coach said, no, that's not what Sanchez said. They went back and forth, and all of a sudden, it looked like Vega was holding his arm. Then all of a sudden, punches were thrown. It looked like Vega was on the floor from a weird slide, and then all of a sudden, punches thrown back and forth. And here we go. It's 3-1, no score. Runner at third with 2 outs. Here in the top of the first inning, and of course, the one game when the umpires come a little late, there's no lights here at the field, so we have to hopefully get that situation sorted. And we're still seeing who is going to be ejected, how the situation's going to play out. A big scrum broken out between the East LA Dodgers and the California K-Drats, and here we go. Vega standing at third with some blood underneath his nose. So this was not some fake brawl. This was better than Floyd Mayweather and one of the fake YouTubers who like to fake fight. These were legitimate punches thrown between one side and the other. Now there are 2 umpires talking between Joe Magno and the East LA side here in Downey. Fireworks. 4th of July is next week, folks, but things going crazy here early in Downey. Now both coaches yelling back and forth at one another. This is not stopping one at all. Both guys are coaching and yelling and frustrated, standing up for their guys, and nothing has stopped so far. And what sucks is that what's supposed to be a fun summer league day of baseball, summer league evening, it's just been chirping and chirping and chirping, as I think Vega is out here today. And Vega gone. In for Vega is Julian Francois. So Francois comes in for Vega. It's a crazy day. So Francois stands at third after Vega advances. Francois in, Vega out of the game. We'll see if Sanchez at third will be taken out as well. Already one K-Drat ejected. I believe 2 of them have minimum be ejected. It's still Joe Magno and the East LA Dodger head coach. I think Anthony Chavez and Jesus Quintero and Connor Visle everybody's yelling at each other. And here we go, still looking to sort out this situation. We started at 4:38. This is about 13 minutes since first pitch. About 7, 8 minutes, 10 minutes in here where these 2 teams are trying to figure out what's going on. I believe Vega's gone. He's out of the game. You have James Brandon, who was on the bench, spewing words to the umpires and talking his 2 cents. And we're looking to figure out what's going to happen between these 2 teams. And here we are. They're looking to tell the players who's here and who's gone, as the K-Drats have had a couple of players ejected. Still no score on the top of the first inning. 2 outs, runner at third. It was Vega who stole third. Nobody was paying attention. A slide into third base is what started this all. And whether it was words between Jesus Sanchez, the third baseman who already committed the error, and then threw it away, allowing Vega to go to first to second. He went to third, and then it looked like Vega slid. It didn't seem, it was kind of a unorthodox play. He just went to third. Everybody was asleep. He stole third. Next thing you know, Vega standing there looking to feel up his arm. It looked like he slid wrong, and maybe I've heard some accusations of him being stomped on. I'm not sure whether those are true or not, but all of a sudden, everybody got up. Vega, Sanchez, and haymakers were thrown, blood being drawn, and here we go, still looking to sort things out in the top of the first inning. Here we go. Everybody immediately came rushing out of both dugouts, and still nothing happening just yet. The umpires are looking to figure this out, and folks, we're running out of daylight. We didn't start this at 11 a.m. like we do tomorrow. We could come back tomorrow and play both games, but still figure things out as they're awaiting the two K-Drats, I think, to leave the field of play. But here we are as we look to figure things out. I think Brandon is having his couple of words saying, hey, I didn't say too many things. We'll see who's been ejected from either side. Of course, standing down the third base dugout where I'm standing, I had complete view, and I still have no idea what's going on, as we're going to have some lineup changes for both sides. A brawl here in the first inning in Sunset League play, which will mar things for the next week, I would assume, for both teams who face off again tomorrow morning. That's the kind of fun thing about it, or not so fun, but what will happen for these two teams going forward as we look to finish this one today. These two teams tango tomorrow, as it looks like there are a couple of players warming up for the East LA Dodgers. I think that one player might come in. I'm not entirely sure. The scrum all in front of us as everybody's still talking and discussing. So it's Vega and James Brandon, both ejected. The two K-Drats leaving the field of play, having to go home. So Vega and Brandon, last week's Sunset League reigning player of the week, having to be kicked out after punches thrown. And then James Brandon has to go as well. Two players gone. I'm not sure if any East LA Dodgers have been ejected. And I think we'll see what happens. So 2 outs, runner at third base. The K-Drats still looking to figure things out. Nobody knows what's happened here. 2 outs, runner at third. And everybody's talking back and forth, figuring what happened. One side saying one thing, one side saying the other. Tito Robles is at the plate. That's all we know with 2 outs. Julian Francois, who started the game on the bench, is standing at third base now. And I think we're looking to figure things out here as the umpires look to settle one thing and the other. 2 K-Drats were escorted out. I'm not sure what's happening yet. We might have to take a break here and see what's happening. And we'll see what happens. 0-0 top of the first. You thought the fun had just begun with first pitch, and no. Fireworks, punches, a brawl. And Jabri Walden making up a good point to the K-Drats. Hey, we need to start things. We got no lights, got to play a game. It might be high school status with 7 innings here today. As we look to figure things out. 2 outs. Hopefully we can figure things out. 2 outs, runner at third, which is now Francois in for Vega, and Tito Robles standing in. And we'll take a quick break and look to figure things out. it's time to get back to baseball, I think. The two coaches walked out the ejected players, two ejected Cage Rats, one ejected East LA Dodger, and let's get things situated here as we come back to the broadcast here on the Cage Rats Audio Network. Looks like Samuel Rodriguez from Castleton University comes in for Jesus Sanchez, the third baseman who was ejected. Sanchez, who made the throwing error at third that allowed Vega to go from first to second. He hit it a ground ball, got all the way to second base with 2 outs. Then he advanced to third. And then everything broke loose. Zach Anderson, Yoxheimer with you guys here in the top of the first. 2 outs, runner at third, 3-1 count to Tito Robles. And in for Vega is Julian Francois at the moment. We'll see what switches happen when we come back, but it's Rodriguez in for Sanchez. Brandon was ejected for continuing to talk. The umpire said, hey, we need you to calm down and stop talking, and he kept going. The umpire said, we need to toss you out too. For Vega and for Sanchez, Jesus Sanchez and Andy Vega, both those two players were throwing haymakers at one another, going back and forth. What it seems to have started from was either a stop or a word said, or maybe a combination of both, after Vega slid into third base, stealing third, and then it immediately fireworks going after one another. And I think these two teams play before, just beyond, not including Sunset League play. So a brawl here. Joe Magno and the East LA coach both walking out their players, making sure they don't go meet in the parking lot and start another fight. They make sure, hey, let's get things cooking. And the two teams do play tomorrow, 11 a.m. at Clark Field in Long Beach, and don't expect it to be any less fun tomorrow or friendly in tomorrow morning's contest. Top of the first inning, no score, runner at third with 2 outs, a 3-1 count. And this first pitch started at 4:38. The official first pitch was supposed to start at 4:30, and here we are 30 minutes in, not even done with the top of the first. So the umpires are waiting for both head coaches to come back here to the field of play, and we'll have to wait for the Sunset League president and his decree as to what happens. It's not something you see normally here in summer ball, but words were said, words were exchanged, and everything going crazy here on this nutty one. The Cage Rats and the East LA Dodgers, all right, will play again tomorrow and then one more time later this season as we look at the schedule. I believe it's July 21st. They come back to Downey. Tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., and the next game, July 21st, back here in Downey. So the two more remaining matchups, including this one, here in Downey. Still waiting for play to start as the coaches are making sure the two players are good to go and not have anything extra. Vega, gone. Jesus Sanchez, gone. James Brandon, gone. Both head coaches are good to go as crazy fights as we just get started here in the top of the first inning on the Cage Rats radio network. And we'll see if there's any video. There is the Sunset League video stream going that had maybe a decent view of it. But here we are. I think Joe Magno is back, waiting for the Dodger coaches. Everybody's going to come together as the Cage Rats are ready to talk as a team. Wild stuff here in the beginning of this one. And we're still awaiting to start play as the coaches are coming together. The coaches were saying words back to one another. Players going back and forth. Both benches emptied as the two teams have stayed far away from each other. And they were ready to fight each other. And I think we're still waiting for one more coach to come back. As at some point we got to play the game or either call it because we're running out of time. There's no way, I think, my opinion, but we'll get through nine innings at this rate, at least through the sunset. Let's see, Downey, city of Downey. Taking a look at when sunset is in Downey. Sunset is at 8:07 p.m. So just had a chat with the umpires. Just the 3 players gone. 3-1 the count to Robles as he stands up with 2 outs and a runner at third in Julian Francois. No score in the top of the first. As Robles battles Dylan Chalmers, who is the reigning Sunset League Pitcher of the Week, one of 3 players awarded with that honor. As the 2 umpires back to their respective positions, 3-1 the count. Robles, about 20 minutes after he stepped in for ball 3, comes up and gets ready to hit once again. Jabri Walden, the first base coach, Matt Kostopoulos, the on-deck hitter. And here we go. Let's play baseball finally at 5:03 p.m. 3-1 the count. 2 outs, Francois at third. No score, top of the first. East LA Dodgers and the California K-Drats. 1 today, 1 tomorrow. Let's go. Robles finally steps in officially at 5:04 p.m. And now we can start baseball once again. Chalmers, his first pitch in nearly 25 minutes. And Robles, you could feel that swing coming, but he fouls it away. 3-2, the count's full. Chalmers, if we'll remind you, struck out Enriquez to start the inning, then Ayala. Then, funny enough, it was Vega who chopped out to third, but he threw the ball away, and then madness ensued. The 3-2. And that's called strike 3. After all that, a pop-up foul and then a strike on a fastball in the outside corner and 3 strikeouts for Chalmers to end this top of the third. He strikes out the side. We head to the bottom of the first after a lengthy delay over 30-plus minutes to end that top of the first inning, including an 8-minute delay to start the game. K-Drats 0 and the East LA Dodgers coming up with Bruce Yamamoto on the mound. Both teams having their aces going here today in Sunset League play on the K-Drats Audio Network. Bottom of the first inning here in Downey, California. Zach Anderson, Yoxheimer with you guys. The K-Drats taking on the East LA Dodgers. Changes all the way around. Well, not so much, but still a couple of changes for both sides. 3 ejected, 2 for the K-Drats, 1 for the Dodgers, and the K-Drats might come together, and they're fired up. Bruce Yamamoto on the mound for the K-Drats. Fist bumps everybody in the infield, and I think now we're ready for play. The 5-3 K-Drats against the 1-4-1 East LA Dodgers. And here we are, bottom of the first inning. No score as Bruce Yamamoto toes the rubber for the 3rd time this season in Sunset League play. Yamamoto against Cunningham. Starting center fielder, Yamamoto swings his leg out of the wind. Fastball, and that's lifted to deep left field. That ball is absolutely demolished, and it's a solo bomb to left field. And the East LA Dodgers, well, they're fired up. Cunningham destroyed the first pitch from Yamamoto. Michael Cunningham out of San Francisco State pauses, does a little toe tap on third base to embellish in front of the Cage-Rat dugout. Now stomps on home plate. The Cage-Rats will for sure not like that, but the Dodgers made their statement. First pitch, and it's Cunningham who rides it out of the ballpark with a solo bomb to start things off for East LA. 1-0 here in the bottom of the first. After all that, it's the Dodgers who take the 1-0 lead after all the brouhaha between both sides. Now here's Edward Morales, who comes up and takes a first pitch strike. Yamamoto, after the first pitch, gives up a home run. The fourth home run Yamamoto has given up this season. Gave up 3 to the Trotsky Redbirds on June 15th in his opening day start. Went 6 shutout innings on Sunday, and here today misses inside with the 1-1 to Morales and gives up a leadoff home run to Cunningham. That ball was no doubt about it, and Cunningham made sure to make his thoughts known by pausing over that third base bag right in front of the Cage-Rats dugout, who are on the third base side, which is where everything happened, at the third base bag. As Morales takes low 2-1 on the breaking ball from Yamamoto. 2 balls and a strike here to Morales. Following up will be Rodriguez, who came in for Jesus Sanchez, as Yamamoto misses with the fastball upstairs, 3-1. Sam Rodriguez from Castleton University stands on deck in place of Jesus Sanchez, the ejected East LA Dodger. Yamamoto, his 3-1 fastball pops straight up and out of play, 3-2. So to recap, it's Andy Vega, James Brandon, and Jesus Sanchez, 2 Cage-Rats and 1 East LA player ejected for today's game, and we'll see how their rest of this season shapes up, at least the rest of the week, as the 3-2 is popped down the right field line and hooking foul and out of play. So the Cage-Rats, this is what they've done. They moved Jacob Ramirez, who was supposed to start today in right field, into shortstop to take the place of Vega, and Francois, who's taken the actual spot in the batting order of Andy Vega after not starting today, is immediately inserted into the lineup in right field. Yamamoto's 3-2. That one's lifted to center. Right center on his horse is Enriquez looking for it, and it's caught by Francois, who calls off Enriquez right at the wall in the deepest part of the ballpark in right center, at least close to it, here in Downey. So Morales puts a charge into it, but out number 1 is Yamamoto allows 2 deep fly balls, one for a home run, and the other one for a deep fly out to deep right center. Up steps Sam Rodriguez. With 1 out, nobody on, 1-0 East LA, bottom 1. A late swing for Rodriguez on the fastball, and it's 0-1. All the fireworks here today, the 0-1, as Yamamoto misses outside, 1-1. One ball, one strike. Yamamoto, with that long sweeping leg kick, fires home and blows it past the bat of Rodriguez once again, 1-2. Got your heart pumping, got your body racing, fingers tingling, and it's not the prettiest of sights to see, but you know both teams will be geared for the next 9 innings, or close to it, as the 1-2 off speed misses outside, 2-2 to Rodriguez. Still in the bottom of the first inning, no lights here, so that might affect things going forward tonight, as the 1-1 is, or the 2-2, excuse me, fouled straight back. The one thing these two teams could do is finish today's game tomorrow morning and then play game 2. As the 2-2 from Yamamoto is a slider in the dirt, but Rodriguez holds up. They appeal to first, but no swing, and it's 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. A leadoff home run given up to Cunningham, and the East LA Dodgers lead by a run. That's where we are now. Rodriguez takes called strike 3 at the knee as he dejectedly walks back to the dugout, and 1 out here. 2 outs now here in the bottom of the first. Zach Dickinson from Hope International University. That's literally right next to Cal State Fullerton in the OC as Yamamoto drops in a first pitch slider, first strike, 0-1. Dickinson steps in, his first plate appearance. Comes in, the lefty against the righty Yamamoto. 0-1 is cut on and missed, strike 2. An extra little gusto on that fastball from Yamamoto. Not grooving that one to the lefty Dickinson. The long lettuce flowing out of his helmet, but down in the count 0-2. Yamamoto, 2 strikes, and that one misses outside. Looked to be more of a changeup maybe. 1-2. Yamamoto, when locating the fastball and the slider, is pretty unhittable so far from what I've seen, but hasn't always been able to locate and execute both pitches in the same outing. 1-2. Misses low. Hard fastball, but misses low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. K-Drats trail by a run in the bottom of the first. Yamamoto here's the pitch, and he spikes the 2-2 off to the backstop. 3-2. Defensively for the K-Drats, left to right, it's Robles at third, Ramirez at short, Calix Armijo at second, and Kyle Rawlings at first. Left to right in the outfield, you have Ayala, Enriquez, Francois, and then Zach Sarando catching Bruce Yamamoto. The 3-2 on its way to Dickinson. And he lines it into right field. That one will drop in for a base hit right in front of Francois. The good AB for Dickinson as he fights it off and gets to first base with 2 outs. The second hit given up by Bruce Yamamoto. And Yamamoto fakes a throw over to first, making sure Dickinson, who puts on that little sliding pad that just about every player has on nowadays. For Dickinson, it's on his left hand. For me personally, when I played ball, I put it on my right hand. It's my throwing hand. That's my sliding hand. Sometimes players, they slide with their left hand. Here's the pitch. First one is a first pitch strike here to Noah Nieto. Fastball at the knees for a strike. The catcher today, the lefty, low crouch. The old school spit before his pitch comes in. No batting gloves, but he takes outside 1-1. Got the socks showing about high, about mid-knee level with the pants. So old school ball player the way he looks standing up at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike to pitch, and that one a fastball upstairs, 2-1. K-Drats will have Gustopoulos, Bush, and Armijo due up in the top of the second whenever we get there. Might be an hour in as Yamamoto finally tosses over to first base, making sure Dickinson doesn't go anywhere, but nothing doing there. 1-0, bottom of the first, and if you're wondering why we're 45 minutes in and not even done with an inning, as the runner goes, it's fouled straight back. 2-2 to Nieto. Now Dickinson has to trot back to first. If you're wondering why it's taken so long to get through this first inning, well, first, 8 minutes late to start the game. And then, the top of the first, with a brawl, both teams throwing some haymakers. Just 3 players ejected, though, as both benches cleared. And now here we are, bottom of the first. The pitch on its way. That one's chopped towards the third base side, but foul. Just past Robles. One of those that would, from the lefty stick, hooks towards the left field line and comes away from the third baseman. And be a tougher play to field. Nieto stands in there with 2 strikes, battling. Yamamoto lifts the leg. Short leg kick, breaking ball, misses outside, 3-2. The count runs full. Dickinson at first will get a nice head start with 2 outs in the first. Yamamoto comes set. Lifts his leg, runner goes, it's popped up, and this one will get out of play towards the third base side. Where will it go? And I didn't see where it landed, but it was out of play. 3-2. 3-2, 2 outs. Runner going again. Nieto takes called strike 3. Fastball above the belt, and Yamamoto strikes out 2, but gives off a leadoff home run to Cunningham on the first pitch. He embellishes, trots around, making sure the K-Drats saw him take his time rounding third, stepped on it, and then stopped on home plate for a solo bomb. 1-0 heading to the top of the second, East LA over the K-Drats on the K-Drats Audio Network. Top of the second inning, 1-0 East LA over the California K-Drats as they look to face off against Dylan Chalmers for the second time. It's 5, 6, and 7 to up in the K-Drat lineup. First up, Matt Kostopoulos from UC Davis comes in. Hit a monster double into the left center gap yesterday. And in Pasadena, that's a huge power alley, especially for right-handed hitters. Kostopoulos stands here, leading things off. Jason Bush on deck, then Calix Armijo in the hole. The 3 to up this inning. Kostopoulos takes outside 1-0. Bush getting his first at-bat with the K-Drats. He'll be on deck. And heard rumblings he might have to come in for Yamamoto to pitch in relief as Chalmers 1-0. Kostopoulos fouls straight back off the screen, 1-1. It is a deep ballpark to hit it out, but the wind blowing out here today, not as deep as it was yesterday, but might be a little bit more offensive friendly to the hitter. Not 374 down the left field line. Chalmers set in the stretch, eyes the 1-1, comes home with it. Kostopoulos pops it straight up and behind home plate. Now to play for strike 2, 1-2. Chalmers struck out 3 in the first inning. The only runner he allowed was Andy Vega, who has since been ejected to reach on a 2-out error from the third baseman Jesus Sanchez, who also was ejected. Vega's spot was Francois stranded at third. Here's Kostopoulos with the 1-2. That one's crushed to left. This one is gone. A solo bomb for Kostopoulos to respond, and it's 1-1. The K-Drats have knotted it up with a home run of their own. Dylan Chalmers, who was touched up not at all last week, no earned runs and 9 strikeouts, comes up with a solo bomb, crushing it to deep left field. It's 1-1 as he gives a quick few words of advice to the newest K-Drat, Jason Bush. 1-1 as Kostopoulos leaves the yard, a solo home run to left field. Fired up as the DH looked to get his swing back yesterday. He got one. You could see him relax. Here he is with 2 strikes, gets something to hammer, and absolutely crushes it to the left field side. 1-1 our score. Bush steps in, takes low for ball 1, 1-0. The 2 runs scored by home runs to left field. Absolutely demolished home runs, I must add as well. Bush stands up on the left side, wearing number 74, the 1-1-0. Skips to home plate, 2-0. Kostopoulos' first home run of the summer for the K-Drats in Sunset League play. Ties the game at 1 here in the second inning. About 2.5 hours till sunset here in Downey. Still in the top of the second. Got to pick up the pace here today. Bush lifts it up to right center. This one will stay playable, and it is caught into deep right center. As chasing it down was Cunningham for out number 1. So somewhat eerily similar to the first inning for the East LA Dodgers. Massive home run to left field, then an extremely deep fly out to right center before it was tracked down for out number 1. So Chalmers and Yamamoto each giving up home runs. Now we're knotted up at 1, and the fun has just begun. Here's Calix Armijo with 1 out, nobody on, a run in, a breaking ball that misses upstairs, 1-0. The 1-0. Armijo fouls it straight back, 1-1. Gets a good piece of it. Armijo yesterday against the Sentinels went hitless after a strong day in San Diego the day before. Chalmers, set, works exclusively out of the stretch, sort of off-centered with his leg kick. Oofy, long delivery, and fires homeward bound with a fastball, and that is a swing and a miss, strike 2. One of those that's deceptive, has some extra heat, long stride to home plate, and then a deceptive last-minute delivery that hides the fastball as long as humanly possible, and Calix Armijo lines it down the first base line, just foul, bidding for a 2-strike single, and he just misses a single and maybe a double with 1 out. First base umpire right on top of it right there to see clearly that it did not land fair. Armijo with a ball and 2 strikes. Takes a long moment to gather his thoughts. Kostopoulos hit a home run on a 1-2. We'll see what Armijo gets with a ball and 2 strikes. Chalmers shakes off the sun. Set and ready, and here we go with the 1-2. Armijo just gets a piece of it at home plate and fouls it back. 1-2. 1-1 our score, top 2 here on the K-Drats Audio Network. The 1-2, though, to Armijo is called strike 3. Armijo does not like that. The K-Drats dugout doesn't like that either. That's the second out of the inning, the 4th strikeout for Chalmers on the mound. And 2 outs, nobody on for Kyle Rawlings, who got a pair of games to play yesterday. Started the first game the K-Drats played, the non-divisional matchup against the Sentinels, and then started game 2 at first base. Today here at first base, takes a first pitch strike, 0-1. 0-1, Rawlings set. Here's Chalmers' pitch. That's another fastball in for a strike, and Rawlings has taken the first 2. Oh, 0-2. Chalmers ready with the 0-2. Fastball just misses outside, 1-2. If Rawlings can reach, Serrando on deck. And then Ramirez would round out this 10-man K-Drats batting order. 1-2. Chalmers, here's the pitch as Rawlings fouls it away. Ball in 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. 1-1 our score. 2 solo home runs have been all the action so far, offensively, as Rawlings fouls another 1-2 away, capping it off the end of the bat to stay alive. One and two. Chalmers set in the stretch. Ready, here's the pitch. And he grounds it foul down the first base line. Really late on that swing, just playing pepper. grounding it one way or the other. One and two as Rawlings steps up to the plate. Chalmers' pitch is in the dirt. Rawlings says, I'm good. And one skips into Nieto. 2-2, evening up the count. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Already a hotly contested affair between both sides. Rawlings takes low, 3-2. Three balls and 2 strikes. Rawlings having a good at-bat here. The 3-2. Rawlings grounds it foul again. Another foul ball with 2 strikes. That's got to be the 3rd or 4th time he's hit it with 2 strikes, grounding it foul. Three and 2. Chalmers shakes off once, finally agrees. Oh, they go with 3-2. Slider maybe? Breaking ball. Rawlings grounds it through the right side, but picked up cleanly, fired to first. And that's dropped at first base by the first baseman for the Dodgers. That was Hernandez fielding the throw from Googly at second base. Googly and Hernandez both went after the ball. Hernandez then realized, wait a minute, I have to run back to the bag. Googly threw it. Hernandez, in one motion, was running, turning, stepping on the bag, and catching it. Although the last step of the process, and one of the most important things, catching the baseball, he did not complete. So an E3 allows Rawlings to reach with 2 outs. Second consecutive inning, the Dodgers have made an error with 2 outs, so allowed a cage rat to reach. And now here's Sarando as the cage rats look to strike for more here in the second. Oh, yeah. That one misses upstairs, 1-0. It's Sarando, Ramirez, and then Enriquez for the cage rats as Rawlings has a decent lead at first. And Sarando takes upstairs 2-0. Chalmers, the righty from Lassen Community College, looking to get some NCAA looks. As the 2-0. Sarando grounds it to short. Candy hop right at shortstop. Fielded cleanly by Morales. And that's the 3rd out as he flips it to second base to Googly. And he steps on the bag for out number 3. After an inning and a half, Kostopoulos knots it up at 1 apiece with a solo bomb. 1-1 heading to the bottom of the second on the Cage Rats Audio Network. Bottom of the second inning here in Downey. 1-1 our score between the Cage Rats and the East LA Dodgers. Yamamoto toes the rubber once again. Up steps to hit is Hernandez, the first baseman who just committed the error. But nothing to show for it. First pitch grounds it to second. Armijo fields it cleanly over to first. And a strong throw retires Hernandez on the first pitch. Yamamoto gets an easy ground out to second base. Now here's Delvin Gomez, who steps in to swing the bat. Gomez with 1 out, nobody on. Yamamoto after a lengthy battle in the first inning. Comes up now looking for a 1-2-3 inning of his own. It's a breaking ball that misses low to Gomez, 1-0. It was Hernandez, Gomez, and Perez, the three scheduled hitters for East LA. Here at the home of the Warriors at St. Pius X, St. Matthias Academy. Gomez takes a fastball that spikes in the dirt, 2-0. Yamamoto, as these two squads looking to see who can make it to the All-Star game on July the 7th for the Sunset League. At least these the scheduled All-Star games. That one's lifted to deep left center. Enriquez on his horse makes the running catch in deep left center on the softball field that's adjacent here towards the other side of the diamonds. That's all dirt in straightaway center. And he ran into the other dugout on the opposite side of the field and makes the catch in what is maybe the deepest part of the field. So 2 quick outs for Yamamoto, living large here by the big field in dead center. And here's Perez, who comes up with 2 outs, nobody on, and takes a strike, 0-1. Googly stands on deck as Perez takes a strike, 0-2. Yamamoto 1 strike away from a 1-2-3 inning, has 2 strikeouts to his credit. Is 0-2, swings that leg, and called strike 3. The umpire thought about it and rung him up. Called it 3 outs, 3 Ks for Yamamoto, who had 10 on Sunday, 3 today, as we're through 2 innings, tied at 1 on the K-Drats Audio Network. Top of the 3rd inning here in Downey. 1-1 our score between the K-Drats and the East LA Dodgers. It's Jacob Ramirez, the number 10 hitter, to lead things off for the Rats, and Joe Magno. Still against Dylan Chalmers on the mound. We'll see how long the Dodgers extend him. We've seen these teams be a little bit more eager to extend guys, as the first pitch fastball to Ramirez is a called strike, 0-1. Ramirez, Enriquez, and Ayala due up for the K-Drats. Ramirez sees the 0-1, and he takes upstairs, 1-1. 1-1 our score. 2 solo home runs. One in the bottom of the first for the center fielder Cunningham for the Dodgers on the first pitch from Yamamoto. And then Kostopoulos evened it up, as that's a line drive off the glove at third of Rodriguez for an infield single. At least that's what we thought it was Rodriguez. They might have switched things around. Looks like it's Googly who's moved to third. That was off the glove of Googly at third. and it's Gomez who stands at second base now. So Googly at third can't make the play as Gomez stands at second. Ramirez stands at first base for the K-Drats, reaching on a leadoff single. Enriquez squares the bunt, puts it foul. For the Dodgers, they'll have 9, 10, and 1 due up in the bottom of the third. Here comes Enriquez, who struck out swinging in his first at-bat. Ramirez slowly growing his lead at first. He's running, and that's taken low. The throw from the 8-0 will not be in time as Enriquez steals second base. It was a ball low to Enriquez. 1-1 the count. Stealing second is Ramirez, who got to pitch in relief and get the win on Thursday in San Diego against Trotsky. 2 innings, or an inning 2/3 if I'm not mistaken. Here's Enriquez, who takes a called strike. 1-2. There's Ramirez escaping a jam and then getting 1, 2, 3 in the ninth. But here he is doing work with the bat and working on the base paths as he stands at second. 1-2 to Enriquez, not going. Enriquez takes called strike 3, a breaking ball. Low and away. That's called for strike 3 in the first out of this third inning. This is the second time a breaking ball has been called for a strike 3 that came to the dismay of the K-Drats hitters. More oohs and ahs and anger from the K-Drats side. 1 out. Runner at second base. Here's Joe Ayala, who steps up, looking to put the ball in play. Takes low, 1-0. For Chalmers, that was his 5th strikeout of his outing. Ayala went down looking in his first at-bat. Although with the way the K-Drats keep reacting, and even the Dodgers, both teams reacting very adversely to the strike zone today. But maybe it's changed a little bit with sunlight going down as Ayala calls time in the box. Ramirez led things off with a single off the glove of Googly at third. Now stands at second after stealing the base. Long leash. He fakes like he's going. Ayala takes outside. 2-1. Make that 2-0. Now it's Gomez and Morales who are having a chat with Chalmers because Ramirez is getting a huge lead at second base, an absolutely huge lead. If he wanted to, if he gets the right timing, he could steal third. So there must be some sort of talking to between Chalmers, Gomez, and Morales as Ramirez looks to get a bigger lead at second base. Chalmers comes home with it, quicker to home plate, and Ayala swings through it and a fake throw to second base to scare Ramirez back to the bag. 2-1. 1-1, top of the third is our score. With 1 out, Ayala has a chance to give the K-Drats their first lead today early on. Chalmers, long look, comes home, and Ayala swings through the 2-1, 2-2. Julian Francois stands on deck to get his first plate appearance in the spot for Andy Vega. Chalmers, making sure sundown happens before we finish this game, takes his time, comes set, eyes Ramirez at second. Long pause, comes home, and time was called. So Ayala just takes a pitch there. Chalmers ended up throwing the pitch, but before the pitch was thrown, no pitch time, so we'll do it again. 2-2 to Ayala. That's a ball outside, 3-2. They went with the fastball. This is one of those ABs with Gomez so preoccupied standing at second base. If Ayala can get something on the outside corner, he can just poke a ground ball to the right side of the infield, extremely vacant, and get an RBI single out of it. 3-2. Ayala takes instead ball 4. They went with the breaking ball, and Ayala says, nope, I'm taking ball 4. First and second now for the Cage-Rats here in the third with 1 out, and Francois started today on the bench after leading off and starting in either the outfield, left center or right, and even in second base once or twice. Was asked to go start on the bench today before in the first inning a brawl broke out, and now here he is hitting in the spot for Andy Vega. First pitch to Francois. That one's lifted down the right field line, or will drop for a base hit. They're going to keep Ramirez at third as the throw comes home a little wildly, but still had plenty of mustard on it to make sure that the runner Ramirez would not have scored. But a base hit for Francois on the right. Base is loaded. 1 out. At third base is Ramirez. Ayala advances to second, and Francois, for the first time this season, gets a base hit in his first at-bat of a game. Pretty significant, as maybe we'll see Francois lead off tomorrow morning as the Cage-Rats play the same East LA team tomorrow. Here's Tito Robles. Bases loaded. 1 out in a 1-1 tie. Chalmers battling against it here in the third. The first pitch to Robles. Fastball upstairs, 1-0. Robles had about a 30-minute at-bat in his first time up. Most of it wasn't due to him, but because of the brawl that broke out. 1-0 to Robles, though. Chalmers, set, comes home, and Robles takes outside 2-0. A walk forces home a run. But Robles feasting on the fastball potentially, as now there's going to be time and a mound visit to Chalmers. Two and 0. Two balls, no strikes. Robles up. Bases full of Cage-Rats. 1-1 tied in the third with 1 out. So even for Robles, all he needs is a fly ball to the outfield to give the Cage-Rats a lead. Although if he can get a base hit, find one into either left or right center, who would score 3 with the speed on the bases. Francois standing at first, would score in a ball in the gap. Chalmers with the 2-0 to Robles. And they went with the breaking ball, and Robles wisely says, I was not looking for a breaking ball in 2-0, and takes it for a strike, 2-1. That's a big spot there. Chalmers, who was missing with the fastball, can break off a nice spinning slider right there for a strike. Here's the 2-1. Robles hits it a mile high on the infield. Infield fly is called. Gomez will make the catch anyways. But Robles can't drive home the run, so now bases loaded, 2 outs, and here's Matt Kostopoulos, who's got a couple of RBIs in his last couple of games. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Here's Kostopoulos, who in his first at-bat hit a home run. Now here he stands up after a double yesterday and a home run today. Big spot with the bases loaded. And a 1-1 tie in the third. 2 outs. Chalmers' first pitch, and Kostopoulos takes low, 1-0. Looking more and more confident each and every at bat he steps up. Hit a 2-strike pitch for a mammoth home run to left field that tied this one. Got the Cage-Rat dugout fired up as well. Kostopoulos looking for 1 and 1 pitch only. Takes a breaking ball for a strike, 1-1. Cage-Rats dugout fired up though. Just right next to us, you can hear them barking and chirping. They've been loud and proud and very vocal all game long. 1-1. Kostopoulos takes outside, and it's now 2-1. 2 balls and a strike. Chalmers taking a long look at the sign. Set. Kostopoulos looking to come through again for the Cage Rats. The 2-1. Breaking ball for a strike. 2-2. Nice little bender that freezes Kostopoulos for a moment. Now this is one of those spots with the outfield playing so deep. If Kostopoulos gets that same pitch, all you have to do, wait on a little bit, poke it into the outfield, score a run or two. Bases loaded, 2 outs, 2-2, 1-1 game here in the top of the third. Chalmers set. Kostopoulos holds up on his swing, and they say no swing as it was a breaking ball in the dirt. His whole body rotated, except for the bat that he held at home plate. So now it's 3-2. Runners will be on the move here with 2 outs. And his mindset's got to be either base hit or ball 4 with Jason Bush on deck. It went to deep right center for an out in his first at-bat. But all the action stands between Kostopoulos and Chalmers. And he balks. Chalmers balks, and that scores a run for the Cage Rats. Everybody advances up a base. So now Ramirez scores. Advancing to third is Ayala, and Francois goes to second as Chalmers is having a chat with the umpire standing at second base saying, what did I do? And I didn't see anything specifically because I was looking at Kostopoulos, but he balks, and the Cage Rats now have taken the lead 2-1. So here's Kostopoulos. The pitch, and he lunges on the 3-2, pokes it over the first baseman's head. It'll be dropped, and it is a foul ball. Ooh, that one I thought was in fair territory, but ranging back there at first was Hernandez, was backpedaling, the exact opposite of what you want to do. You want to turn, run after it, and then get a good, firm eyesight of the ball, good view of it. Was backpedaling, bobbing that head, and it's not exactly even grass out there, it looks like. Drops it, but it just goes as a foul ball in the 3-2. Second and third, 2 outs, 3-2 to Kostopoulos, and now a 2-1 game after Chalmers balked home a run. Kostopoulos lunged after that 3-2 just to stay alive. Looking to shorten that swing up here with 2 strikes and 2 outs. The pitch, and he pops the 3-2 straight up and out of play, foul. They went with the breaking ball that he was just out in front of. Kostopoulos takes his time, steps in. We'll do the 3-2 one more time. Eating away at the potential pitch count for Chalmers. Shortening his day. 3-2. Breaking ball, and he strikes out Kostopoulos. Nasty breaking ball with 2 strikes going against his aggressiveness. And with 3-2, do you think he's going to throw a couple breaking balls, if not 2 or 3 in a row? And that was out number 3 to end this top of the third, but not before the Cage Rats take a 2-1 lead after Chalmers box home a run from third, heading to the bottom of the third on the Cage Rats Audio Network. Three and one, 2-1, the score here in the bottom of the third. Not sure where my mind's at. It's been a long day so far. We are close to getting into an hour and a half in but only in the bottom of the third. 2-1, K-Drats lead the East LA Dodgers. It's Googly, Smith, and then Cunningham due up for the Dodgers here in the bottom of the third. Yamamoto had a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the second inning. Here he is starting the third against Googly, the number 9 hitter. With a fastball, he bunts it, but it's popped up straight to Yamamoto on the mound for out number 1. Looking to lay down a drag bunt, but got too much of the bat. Popped it straight up, got underneath the baseball, and that's an easy out. The third consecutive inning that the Dodgers have gone after the first pitch of the inning. Cunningham, a first pitch home run. Hernandez, a first pitch ground out. And Googly, in the third inning, pops out the first pitch. Now here's Smith, the DH, the number 10 hitter. Takes first pitch, skipped home, 1-0. Getting his first plate appearance today. This is Chase Smith. Goes to school at Cal State Fullerton. Yamamoto shakes off one pitch, agrees to the other. Long swinging leg comes home, and the 1-0 is fouled straight back on a in-between swing from Smith. Cunningham stands on deck with already a home run to his credit. A mammoth blast to left field that got the already strained emotions that more heightens. That one's lined through the left side, scooped at third by Robles. The one-hop throw in time to get to first base. Robles diving, sprawling to his left, robs Smith of a single. Looked to be through. He scoops it up at third. And then Rawlings on the other end scoops it up at first. A 5-3 putout and a web gem for the second out of the inning. Everybody's making plays here today. As Michael Cunningham steps up for his second appearance in battle versus Bruce Yamamoto with 2 outs and nobody on. And Yamamoto wisely gives him a first pitch breaking ball that he spins in for a strike, 0-1. Next pitch hits the backstop, not anywhere close. 1-1. Cunningham battling. Yamamoto's pitch. Long leg kick comes home, misses upstairs. Now 2-1. Cunningham standing in the back of the box. Takes Yamamoto's 2-1, and we'll take it for a strike, 2-2. Yamamoto with 3 Ks here today, giving up 1 run, 2 hits, a home run, and a single. Has retired the last 7 in a row as Cunningham fouls back the 2-2. Make that last 6 in a row. Got the last out of the first, 1-2-3 in the second, and looking to do the same here in the third. Two. That one's cut on a miss. Strike 3. Yamamoto, a little emotion on the mound, too. And 4 Ks through 3 innings. A 1-2-3 innings, 6 in a row retired for the righty. As we step to the top of the 4th, 2-1, the K-Drats leading here on the K-Drats Audio Network. Top of inning number 4 here in Downey, California. K-Drats, East LA Dodgers 2-1 here in the top of the 4th. Zach Anderson Yoxheimer with you guys. Chalmers gone through 3 innings, giving up 2 runs. Here's Jason Bush, who takes the first pitch upstairs, 1-0. Chalmers gave up a home run, and then with the bases loaded, 2 outs and 2 strikes to Kostopoulos, he balked home what is currently the go-ahead run for the K-Drats, and they lead it 2-1. Bush fouls the 1-0 back off the screen, 1-1, the newest member to the K-Drat roster. Wearing the shades while hitting, even though the sun's behind him. Getting a good look at the pitches from Chalmers. Flew out to the deep part of the field in right center. Chalmers 1-1, and Bush fouls it back 1-2. Just a casual, free, easy swing about him. Calm, cool, collected. Almost like there's not a care in the world. Just free, easy swing, and voila, might go 500 feet, but currently down in the count, 1-2. Chalmers might break off a slider here, and Bush swings and misses for out number 1, and a strikeout here for Chalmers to start off this 4th inning. For Chalmers, that's strikeout number 7. So 7 strikeouts through 3 1/3. Calix Armijo steps up with 1 out and nobody on here in the 4th. Struck out looking in his last at-bat as Chalmers comes up and throws it low, 1-0. Armijo, then Rawlings up. 6, 7, and 8 for the K-Drats. Here's the pitch. And Armijo pops it up into shallow left center. Coming in and making the catch is Dickinson in left for out number 2. So 2 quick outs here for Chalmers. And now here's Kyle Rawlings with 2 outs and nobody on. Zach Sarando on deck if Chalmers gives up a 2-out base runner in the form of Kyle Rawlings. For Chalmers, he's only given up 3 hits. Some of the damage against him has been his defense playing badly behind him as Rawlings takes a strike, 0-1. 2 errors committed by the Dodgers. Neither one of those errors have come back to haunt East LA so far today. The 0-1, and Rawlings fouls it straight back, 0-2. Sarando stands on deck. For Chalmers, looking for his first 1-2-3 inning today. The pitch, and it's low, 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Rawlings with 2 outs. Swings and misses for out number 3. That will be the 8th strikeout for Chalmers today in his first 1-2-3 inning here in the 4th. We head to the bottom of inning number 4. K-Drats lead 2-1 on the K-Drats Audio Network. held back 1. 2-1 our score. K-Drats lead by a run. This is Morales who leads things off for the Dodgers, fouling off the first pitch. It's been pitch for pitch, almost exactly, for both Yamamoto against Dylan Chalmers on the opposite end for the Dodgers. As the 0-1 misses outside 1-1. Yamamoto, who's retired 7 in a row, has 4 strikeouts. Chalmers, who had his first 1-2-3 inning, but has 8 strikeouts, both sides dominant. One mistake from Chalmers as Morales fouls the 1-1 straight back, 1-2. Yamamoto's been more efficient, getting some first pitch outs in the last couple of innings, and some easy outs, while Chalmers has been more dominant in terms of strikeout numbers. Yamamoto's 1-2. Breaking ball called strike 3, and Morales, the slow walk back to the bench with called strike 3, the 5th K for Yamamoto and the first out of the 4th. One out, nobody on. Here's Rodriguez, Sam Rodriguez, who stepped in for the spot of Sanchez. First pitch chopped right back to Yamamoto. Nice, easy throw over to first base for out number 2. For Yamamoto, that's the 3rd consecutive inning he's gotten a 1-pitch out. As Rodriguez steps in, and he's currently 0 for 2 now. Heads back to the bench. Here's Zach Dickinson, his last at-bat. Smacked a base hit and reached with 2 outs. Yamamoto now switching up his timing. Does a double leg lift pump and fires in a fastball for a strike. 0-1. Yamamoto looks one way. Now swings his leg this time, and the 0-2 is foul tipped into the glove for strike 2. Switching up the timing as Yamamoto went first pitch, lifted his leg a couple of times, and then threw home. Then the second time went to his usual windup where he swings his left leg around his right and then fires home. The 0-2 looking to retire 10 in a row. That pitch misses upstairs, 1-2. Here it is, the 1-2 from Yamamoto, looking for strikeout number 6 as Dickinson fouls it straight back. One and two as Dickinson battles here with 2 outs. Here's the 1-2 from Yamamoto. That swung on and missed and actually tipped. Dickinson went all the way down, fishing and even a little below the dirt. Picked up some of Middle Earth with it just to foul that baseball off, but he stays alive, 1-2. Dickinson shaking his head, thinking, oh, how did I get a piece of that one? That was nowhere near the zone, but he still stays alive. Yamamoto swings it one more time, fires homeward bound. The 1-2 is flied into left and caught for out number 3. 10 in a row retired for Yamamoto on the mound as the K-Drats take a 2-1 lead heading to the top of the 5th on the K-Drats Audio Network. Top of the 5th inning here in Downey. Zach Anderson, Yoxheimer with you guys. 2-1, the Cage Rats still leading, holding up by a 1-run scoreline. Their go-ahead run balked in by Dylan Chalmers, who is now out of the game. New pitcher on the mound for the East LA Dodgers squad. It is Joseph Estrada out of Glendale Community College. So the Cage Rats do their job and get Chalmers out of the game after 4 innings. As Sarando takes a firm fastball for a strike, 0-1. It's Sarando, Ramirez, and Enriquez. 9, 10, and 1. It's one of those things off the tip of the tongue. You're used to saying 8, 9, and 1, but with a 10-man batting lineup, it's 9, 10, and 1. The fastball misses upstairs, 1-1. Has some life, it looks like. Out of the hand of Estrada, it just explodes coming from his hand. The only difference between Estrada and Chalmers is Chalmers really likes to hide the fastball and the ball coming out of his hand, but Estrada really explodes, also working out of the stretch. 1-1 to Sarando, and he takes a ball that skips back all the way to the backstop, well out of the strike zone, 2-1. Eight strikeouts for Chalmers through 4 innings. So he was still dominant and extremely effective, but leaves with his team trailing, mostly due to him, as Sarando takes low ball 3. Estrada's promptly come in, showed some more life to the fastball, at least to the naked eye, from my perspective, but hasn't hit the strike zone consistently with it. 3-1. Sarando takes outside ball 4, and he leads things off for the Cage Rats with a 5-pitch walk. So here's Ramirez, who last time got a base hit and came home to score on the Chalmers balk. It was off the glove of Googly at third. One of those that was poked the opposite way off the end of the bat, and eventually stole second and came around to score. A very busy inning. Here's the pitch as Ramirez squares the bunt, takes upstairs, fastball, misses. The 5th time in the first 6 pitches for Estrada that he's thrown a ball that was nowhere near the strike zone, especially with a fastball. Ramirez squaring the pitch is low, 2-0, as Ramirez last minute was squaring to potentially slash, or maybe he saw that ball was low out of the hand. 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes to Ramirez, and this is the spot where you've got to be comfortable and maybe a little bit patient. You have a pitcher who walked. Sarando hasn't thrown a strike to you, and then maybe, all right, let's either get a fastball to feast on, pull it down the line, or maybe take a pitch or two. But he's squaring to bunt again, the 2-0. That one's inside, ball 3, 3-0. 6 of the first 7 have missed from Estrada. You would think with a nice, easy delivery from Estrada, he could hit the zone, but so far has come out a little bit cold out of the pen. 2-1 our score, top 5. Cage Rats lead by a run. Ramirez squaring on the 3-0, and I'm not sure if he'll do it again. He takes upstairs, ball 4, and Sarando will go to second after almost getting backpicked, but it was ball 4, so he gets to go to second. Ramirez takes a 4-pitch walk, and it's now first and second. Nobody out here in the 5th. Cage Rats have both reached with walks. 5 pitches to Sarando, 4 to Ramirez. So make that 8 of the first 9 that have been nowhere near the zone. And here's Enriquez, who struck out his first 2 at-bats, one swinging, the other one looking. And Enriquez, you got to sit there, and we'll see if he squares the bunt. Most likely, there he is, out in front of home plate. Gets it down foul. It rolls just behind home plate. Nieto was hoping to pop up from his crouch and throw it to third to get the lead runner, Sarando, the catcher, who is still running for himself, but just a bit foul as Enriquez 0-1. Getting some insight from Joe Magno yelling to Enriquez saying, hey, we want you to bunt it, but for a hit, not for a sacrifice, with the amount of speed with Enriquez. Maybe load the bases with Aiello, Francois, and Robles coming up. Long look at second. Here we go. One look, two looks, three looks, let's go. Pitch comes home, Enriquez gets it down. Estrada throws it to third, whips it, and that is out number one. Slides in to the legs of Googly. Nothing dramatic that might cause another fracas between the two teams, but a bunt down by Enriquez, but that retires the lead runner in Sarando. So Enriquez on the hard bunt right back to the box. Ramirez goes to second, and Sarando the first out. Here's Aiello with 2 on, 1 out, looking for more insurance as Aiello grounds it slowly to short. Fielded cleanly by Morales to second for 1. Gomez the turn, and they get him at first base, 6-4-3. Dug out at first base by Hernandez, and the Dodgers fired up. Estrada escapes the jam. Couldn't throw strikes to save daylight, and here we are, and a quick 3 outs, a bad bunt, a double play, and after halfway through the game, 4.5 innings, it's 2-1 heading to the bottom of the 5th. K-Drats still leading as Yamamoto slowly stretches to the mound here on the K-Drats Audio Network. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. The K-Drats waste a golden opportunity to score more. Estrada, the relief pitcher, coming in for Dylan Chalmers, walked 2 in a row, hadn't thrown more than 1 strike in his first 9 pitches, and yet the K-Drats send 2 hitters up and end up getting 3 outs after a failed sacrifice bunt, and a 6-4-3 double play ends the inning. And it's 2-1 here in the bottom of the 5th. First pitch from Yamamoto misses upstairs to Nieto for a ball, 1-0. Nieto, his first plate appearance, struck out swinging. Yamamoto has retired 10 in a row as Nieto takes a strike, 1-1. Was the last out of the eventful first inning for both sides. And now here in the 5th, finally gets another at-bat. Yamamoto fires in another strike, 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Here's Yamamoto swinging that leg, fires home and misses outside, 2-2. Here's the 2-2. Yamamoto, as Nieto fouls it straight back, that gets a piece of Sarando. And we'll do it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out. Nieto leading things off. It's Nieto, Hernandez, and Gomez. 5, 6, and 7 in the Dodger lineup. Yamamoto, as Nieto sprays it foul straight back again, still with those no batting gloves, but battling at the dish once again. Two. Breaking ball just misses outside. 3-2. The count runs full to Nieto. The pitch. Fastball. That's grounded right to Ramirez at short. 3 hops and shuffles before he finally fires over to first. And that's the out to start this inning. A lengthy at bat for Nieto. Gets a good piece, but nothing to show for it. 1 out, nobody on. Here's Hernandez, the first base, who's had an adventure out there at first base, making an error, dropping a pop-up into foul territory, and having to dig out a couple balls that ended that double play. So back and forth, good and bad. Here he is with 1 out, pops it up, foul and out of play. 0-1. Yamamoto, that's now 11 in a row. He's retired since the first inning after a base hit from Zach Dickinson. That one's grounded. 1 hop into Ramirez's glove. Has to fire quickly across the diamond, and Rawlings picks it out at first base. Kudos to the name and kudos to the glove, and that's quickly 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Couldn't have a name like Rawlings if you couldn't pick it up at first base, dig it out. That'd just be a sin to the game of baseball. But back-to-back 6-3 putouts and groundouts to Ramirez gives us 2 outs and nobody on as Delvin Gomez steps in and takes the first pitch for a strike. 12 in a row mowed down by Yamamoto. 2-1 our score, bottom 5. K-Drats lead by a run. A pitcher's duel that has yielded fireworks more than what a pitcher's duel normally does as Yamamoto fires the 0-1 in there for a strike, 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. And that one misses low, 1-2. Yamamoto. As time's called from Gomez. We'll get ready and do it again. Gomez, his first plate appearance, flew out to center. 2 outs, nobody on, bottom 5. Yamamoto misses up and in. 2-2. Sun's still shining. Got about 90 minutes of daylight left. Breaking ball misses outside, 3-2. Approximate, of course. If we did the actual math, you would look based on where you research online. It's 8:07 when sunset's supposed to occur, so about an hour and 40 minutes. Is Yamamoto's 3-2. Swings that leg, fires home. Swung on a miss, strike 3. 13 in a row for Yamamoto, strutting off the mound back to the dugout. Gets a strikeout to end the inning, and we head to the 6th, 2-1 K-Drats leading over the East LA Dodgers. top of the 6th inning as the Cage-Rats come up to hit, up 2-1 against Estrada. As here's Julian Francois. First pitch takes inside 1-0. It's Francois, Robles, and Costopoulos. Three, 4, and 5 due up in the Cage-Rat lineup. 2-1. Cage-Rats lead by a run. Here in the top of the 6th, Estrada misses up and in. 2-0 to Francois. It's looking for more runs late in the game. Long stride from Estrada, and he throws a breaking ball that misses outside. 3-0. 3 balls, no strikes. Estrada has walked 2, and now is behind the count 3-0 to Francois. Yesterday, in Game 1 between the Cage-Rats and the Sentinels, in the non-divisional loss, 13-4, as Francois takes a fastball for a strike, Cage-Rats were issued 6 walks, and 3 different batters were hit, and they only scored 3 runs. And when pitchers are missing that bad, you would think you could score more than 3 runs. But yesterday, they failed to take advantage of the wild pitching of the Sentinels in Game 1 and found themselves on the losing end because of it. And here they are with Francois taking inside for ball 4 and reaches first base. So it's Francois. Now Robles comes up as Estrada issues his 3rd walk in an inning plus. Robles today struck out looking, popped out to second with the bases loaded, and here in his 3rd appearance looking to make a big hit, do some damage as we work our way to the later stages of this game. 2-1 our score, top 6. Robles, ready. Hit a mammoth double to left field yesterday, which would have left the yard in just about every ballpark but yesterday's. Francois runs. Robles takes low, ball 1, and Francois still second, standing up as that one squirts away from Nieto. 1-0. So Robles now with the runner in scoring position, nobody out, 5 of the first 6 out of the zone for Estrada. Long look at second, comes home to Robles. Unleashes a violent swing, but fouls it off, 1-1. When you have a pitcher who's a little erratic, like Estrada is currently at the moment, kind of leads the hitter to be indecisive in the box. When you're Robles or last inning, when you have Enriquez bunting and Ayala swinging, you're just kind of waiting for the pitch to hit, and you don't own up. The pitcher turning at the right moment, and then throwing a strike as Francois runs to 3rd, and they hit Robles in the head on a hit by a pitch. And Francois, who is stealing 3rd, has to go back to 2nd as Robles takes one off the noggin, gives the thumbs up. It's now 1st and 2nd as Robles goes to 1st with still nobody out. Eerily similar to yesterday's Game 1, as now Estrada has walked 3 and hit 1. Still nobody out here in the 6th. Unintentional, though. We won't even try and play that game where that was intentional in any way. Estrada looked to be throwing a breaking ball there. And Robles smiling it off as he stands to 1st. Thumbs up all around. As on deck is supposed to be Jason Bush. I think he's warming up in the pen. So Bush has to warm up and get quickly ready to go. It's Costopoulos, then Bush, then Armijo. As Costopoulos stands in with 2 on, nobody out in a 2-1 game here in the top of the 6th. Estrada, ready, looks at second, instead steps off as Francois, who was taking off to 3rd on that last pitch, but basically the worst possible scenario in terms of not getting a stolen base. Francois had an easy jump, but Robles takes it off the helmet. 1st and 2nd, Costopoulos takes a fastball for a strike. The explosion out of the hand pops the glove, 0-1. When Estrada's in the strike zone, he's got good stuff. It's just the consistently with it, consistent delivery, and going back to it. Looks at second. Shakes at Francois once, twice. He's running. Costopoulos takes a strike. They throw to second. Robles steals second. It was a double steal as Francois easily had third. They threw it to second, hoping to get the back runner and Robles, but both runners steal as Costopoulos takes a strike. At third is Francois. At second is Robles. And at second and third, nobody out. I believe it's 0-2 to Costopoulos. I did not see the umpire holding up balls and strikes. A home run to his credit today. Here's the pitch. And that one's nubbed off the end of the bat. That one's dropping into left field. That'll score a run into left center. 3-1 K-Drats as Costopoulos pokes it over the glove of Morales at short. It's now 3-1. Francois in to score. Robles to third. And Costopoulos with his second hit and second RBI of the day. That's now 3 hits and 3 RBIs in the last 2 games alone for Costopoulos. A slow start to the summer, but right as we hit the 4th of July, he's heating up as we near the end of June and the beginning of July. Here's Jason Bush, runner going. He takes low in the dirt, and stealing second is Costopoulos. Running all over the Dodgers are the K-Drats now. Three stolen bases in the inning. And now Bush with second and third, nobody out for his own AB. Today, flew out to center and struck out swinging. All he needs is to put the ball in play to score a run. If Estrada will give him something to hit as he throws it low, 2-0. 3-1 the score as the K-Drats look to put away the game here in the 6th, with Yamamoto continually putting in the strike zone. Yamamoto hasn't allowed a runner to reach since the first inning, but for Bush, he swings through the fastball and misses 2-1. Two balls and a strike. Estrada seems to find his release point correctly at once every 4 pitches as Bush, the 2-1, takes upstairs 3-1. Now, what do you do here with the 3-1? You have Bush, you're sitting there. You look for a fastball. That's the one pitch Estrada has been missing with regularity. 3 balls and a strike, though. Still nobody out. 2 in scoring position for him. Estrada's 3-1 is a swing for Bush. Thought about leaving it low, and he goes after it, and they say he swung, so it's 3-2 now. And he sticks back at home plate instead of ball 4. It's 3-2. Still nobody out. Half-hearted check swing, but he's called for a swing there. 3-2. Bush swings at a high fastball and pokes it foul straight behind him. We'll do it again. Second and third. Robles at third, so if Bush can hit a pretty solid fly ball, then Robles will score from third, and Costopoulos at second. Not the 2 fleetest of foot on the K-Drat roster, which has some major speed, just not the 2 guys on at the moment. 3-2, and Bush takes low, ball 4. Took a couple of pitches, but he still earns his walk. The base is loaded, nobody out. Here in the 6th, with already 1 run in, the K-Drats weren't patient enough in the 5th to score a run, but now here they are, looking to break it open. Up 3-1. There is one getting warm in the pen for the Dodgers. It's Ryan Harney from Citrus Community College, who's looking to warm up in a hurry. Calix Armijo, bases juiced, nobody out. First pitch, grounds it right up the middle. That's caught by Morales at second, turns to first. Not a double play. 1 run comes in to score. That gets away from Hernandez. He scores at second, and now Armijo runs to second. Ground ball, tailor-made 6-4-3 double play, but Gomez's throw to first was short-hopped. Hernandez couldn't pick it. 1 run scored, which was Robles, coming home to score on the bad throw past first base was Kostopoulos. It's now 5-1 Cage Rats as Armijo goes from reaching on the fielder's choice, now advances to second on the throwing error, and still only now 1 out. Runner at second, here's Kyle Rawlings. And a 5-1 score here in the 6th. Rawlings takes off the shoulder, and he's hit by a pitch. So 4 walks and 2 hit by a pitch by Estrada. And now the Cage Rats have 2 on again with 1 out. As Joe Magno, not sure if you heard in the crowd mic there, but preaching patience to Zach Sarando, saying, hey, only 1 ball was put in play. It's outside of the 2 balls put in play, but a lot of pitches nowhere near the strike zone. So now Rawlings at first. Sarando steps in, first and second. Takes the first pitch outside, 1-0. About 90 minutes of daylight left in this one. Long look at second. Armijo, big lead. Here's the pitch. Sarando takes a strike, 1-1. And a throw down to second base that gets into center field. Armijo running to third. The throw from Cunningham comes in. That one skips off the Cage Rats dugout. Now Rawlings behind the play runs from first to second, and errors all over the place. An error on the throw to second from the catcher, Nieto, on the overthrow from Cunningham. That allows Rawlings to go to second, and now second and third for Sarando. So second and third, only 1 out, 5-1 Cage Rats. Sarando hits it, and it rolls fair down the third base line. That one's thrown away down the first base line. Armijo scores. Sarando to second, and Rawlings to third. That one was hit off the grass in foul territory, then spun back fair. Thrown by Estrada well off the glove of Hernandez. No way he could have caught that one. Another run comes in to score, and the Cage Rats have been all over a shoddy Dodgers defense. It's now second and third with 1 out, and Jacob Ramirez up. And here's Ramirez as the Cage Rats have struck for 4 here in the 6th. When walks and hit by a pitch and hit batters as Ramirez takes upstairs 1-0. When you walk and miss the strike zone and commit errors, that's a recipe for disaster. I would know. I made cookies once. They didn't taste good. But in a baseball game, that's not good. 4 runs, the Cage Rats have broken it wide open as Ramirez takes low 2-0. There's been 2 walks and 2 hit by a pitch in this inning alone. And by my calculations, 3 errors. 1 by the catcher, 1 by the center fielder, and 1 by the pitcher. All in succession as Ramirez takes upstairs for ball 3. He walked in his last plate appearance, also against Estrada. Singled in his first at-bat, stole a base, and came around to score. Might work his way up the lineup come tomorrow morning. They play the same Dodger squad tomorrow, 11 a.m. in Long Beach, as it's 3-0. And Ramirez takes up and in for ball 4. Base is loaded. 1 out. 6-1. The Cage Rats lead by 5. And at some point you wonder, will the Dodgers make a change? Or are they living by the arm of Estrada on the bump? Here's Enriquez, who's 0 for 3 today. Struck out twice and was attempting to either bunt for a hit or sacrifice. It looked to be a sacrifice on his last attempt, and it led to an out of the lead runner. Enriquez takes outside 1-0. Five walks issued now by Estrada since he's come in for Dylan Chalmers. Almost an afterthought since he left after 4+ innings. As Enriquez takes a fastball upstairs at the letters for ball 2. Good spot for the leadoff hitter today for the Cage-Rats to be a little bit more patient at the plate. So far, an 0 for day, but a walk scores a run. Estrada settles in on the mound and fires in a strike. It's 2-1. 6-1. 3 errors, 3 walks, 2 hit by a pitch, and 1 hit. That all leads to 4 runs and still counting. Enriquez, the 2-1. Grounds it up the middle. That gets into center field for a base hit. That scores 1. They're sending Sarando. Cunningham's throw in time to get Sarando, but an RBI single for Enriquez as Ramirez stands in between first and second. So it's 7-1 Cage-Rats. Joe Magno looking to push the envelope, but the throw from Cunningham easily nailed Sarando at the plate for the second out of the inning. But Enriquez scores. Sarando pleads his case that he learned to swim on the baseball field, but he's out at home plate anyways. Second hit of the inning. Enriquez gets his first of the day as up steps Joe Ayala. The 10th hitter of the inning as the Cage-Rats have officially batted around with 2 outs. As 2 outs, here's Ayala. Here's the play, and the pitch is a strike to Ayala. Takes a strike. Fastball. Ramirez stands at second, Enriquez at first. This would be a spot where Joe Magno normally goes with a double steal, with 2 of the fastest runners in the lineup standing on base, and arguably maybe the fastest on deck as Ayala takes low 1-1. 5 now in the 6th inning. It's 7-1 Cage-Rats opening it up against the 1-4-1 East LA Dodgers, officially at the bottom of the Sunset League. Ayala takes up and in, has to duck under that one for a ball. Takes a deep breath and says, all right, I'm good to go. 2-1. Two balls and a strike. Estrada still battling through it on the mound, looking to go through 2 full innings. Ayala takes upstairs 3-1. What was once somewhat of a big strike zone is now a much smaller, tighter, compactor zone. 3-1, 2 outs, 2 on. Cage-Rats up 7-1 now here in the top of the 6th. Ayala. The pitch swings and misses. 3-2. 0 for 2 today, a strikeout, grounded into an inning-ending double play in the 5th, and walked in the 3rd. 3-2, runners will be off with the pitch. Here's the pitch, Ayala swings and misses for strike 3, and that ends a lengthy top of the 6th. The Cage-Rats score 5, strand 2, but break it open 7-1, heading to the bottom of the 6th inning on the Cage-Rats Audio Network. bottom of the 6th inning, K-Drats lead 7-1 as Bruce Yamamoto, his first pitch is bunted foul. Here's Perez. Today 0 for 1 with a strikeout looking. You can hear the Dodgers dugout saying, come on, have some fun, swing the bat. Well, with Yamamoto, he's been no fun to step into the box against today. As Yamamoto's 0-1. Cut on a miss, strike 2. Devastating slider right there. Hasn't allowed a base runner to reach against him since the first. Has retired 13 in a row. So Yamamoto is absolutely feeling it on the mound. And that swung on a miss. Strike 3. 14 in a row retired for Yamamoto. That's his 7th strikeout today here with 1 out in the 6th inning. 7 of the 16 outs he's gotten have come via the strikeout. Here's Googly, who steps up with 1 out and nobody on. Perez, Googly, and Smith due up. 8, 9, and 10. These guys haven't hit since the 2nd and 3rd innings, right when Yamamoto was getting on a tear. Slow starter, but quick finisher as another breaking ball is cut on and missed. Googly, massive hack, but comes up with nothing but air. 0-1. 7-1 our score. The K-Drats making a tight game and running away with it as Yamamoto just continually pounding the strike zone. Quickly 0-2 ahead to Googly. 3 errors, 6 free passes, and a couple of base knocks, and the K-Drats score 5. Opening up a 2-1 game, making it 7-1 as Yamamoto misses with the first ball he's thrown in his first 6 pitches of the inning. Looking to get Googly to chase on the 0-2. Doesn't. 1-2. Yamamoto, the pitch, and that's a breaking ball in the dirt. 2-2. Smith stands on deck, the DH. Yamamoto looking for 15 in a row retired and 8 strikeouts. And he's got it. Got him looking. Fastball at the knees. And Googly walks back to the dugout. Number 8 and 6 and 15 in a row. Now 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Smith in a 7-1 scoreline. Is Yamamoto pitching to a quiet side as the K-Drats have come and made their fans loud and proud. The Dodgers side has had nothing to cheer for other than the leadoff home run by the man on deck, Cunningham. First pitch, fastball at the ambush to left field as Yamamoto pulls a fastball inside for a ball, 1-0. Just something that threw it right down the middle, and Cunningham was ready to demolish one of those that the whole Dodger team was excited, ready to hit. Got a pitch to hit and crushed it, but other than that, nothing has been hittable from Yamamoto. As he gives up a fly ball into center, Enriquez comes in and makes the catch for out number 3, lined out for the 3rd out of the inning. Nobody's reached since the first. 16 in a row retired for Bruce Yamamoto, and I think his day is done through 6. K-Drats lead 7-1. They'll face a new pitcher on the mound when they come up to hit in the 7th, up by 6 runs after 6 strong innings from Bruce Yamamoto. 7-1, top of the 7th inning here in Downey. The Cage-Rats leading by 6. Zach Anderson-Yoxheimer with you guys. Julian Francois leading things off, takes a fastball upstairs from Ryan Hardy out of Citrus Community College. Relieving a rough 2-inning stint for Joseph Estrada as Francois fouls back the 1-0. Cage-Rats had all 10 hitters in the lineup come up to hit. Eight of them ended up reaching. That one's popped up on the right side of the infield. Hernandez is there, and he'll make the catch for out number 1. Ten came up, 3 errors committed, allowed 6, make that 5 runs to score. One in Sarando was thrown out at the plate after a strong throw from Cunningham. So still some bright spots defensively for both sides to keep the game close until the 6th inning. As here's Tito Robles. First pitch. Always looks like he's going to hit a home run every swing, but fouls that one back 0-1, hailing from Azusa Pacific. It was close yesterday, and if he can get one here to hit today, might be able to do so. The 0-1 from Harney is a called strike to Robles on the outside corner. He's behind in the count 0-2. Harney looking exactly like Tony Gonsolin of the Dodgers. Fires in a breaking ball, and it's a ball low, 1-2. The entire Cage-Rat squad in between innings. Like Tony Gonsolin, I'm pretty sure he's getting ready to pitch this weekend for the Dodgers, or at least in the big leagues. But here he is, the Tony Gonsolin doppelganger, giving up a 3-hopper to second base, and Gomez lets it go right through the wickets into center field. And another error for the Dodgers. Their 4th in the last 2 innings. And Robles reaches with 1 out, 1 on. Here's Kostopoulos, who has 2 hits and 2 RBIs, and he's scored twice, been the center of the Cage-Rat offense today. A home run that tied the game in the 2nd, got the Cage-Rats, got their footing back, ignited the Cage-Rats dugout, and then got a big single that gave the Cage-Rats some insurance as he takes a breaking ball for a strike from Harney. Gonsolin's doppelganger for a strike, 0-1. Robles, who does have a stolen base in this game, not expecting him to run here. Harney, low late kick, comes home with it, and Kostopoulos takes another strike, 0-2. 2 for 3 today, 3 hits in the last 2 games. Looking to add on to that today and maybe some more tomorrow in Long Beach. Harney's 0-2. That one's knuckled to third. This is Googly going to have to go one way to first, and that will get Kostopoulos at first base. But Robles able to advance to second with 2 outs. And now here's Jason Bush with 2 outs and a runner at second base. I believe he is the man to come in for Yamamoto. And you could hear Joe Magno and the coaching staff discussing whether Yamamoto, he has 83 pitches from what I'm told. Is he going to stretch it out through 7? The longest Yamamoto has gone is 6 this year. That was on Sunday, where he threw 6 shutout against the OC Legends in a 9-2 Cage-Rats victory on Sunday. The longest a Cage-Rats pitcher has gone was 7. Rafael Cortez did that in a losing effort against the Signal Hill Oilers on Monday. As the first pitch to Bush kicks away from a new catcher in the game, and now going to third is Robles. I think who's catching is now Sam Rodriguez. Listed as a catcher and an outfielder, now comes in to catch. Runner at third, 1-0 the count to Bush. He's 0 for 3 today. Here's the pitch, and he takes low and inside. 2-0. Flew out to dead center, struck out, walked, did not score a run. It's been some fun for Jason Bush, hailing from New Mexico State, Nagy. His first game as a K-Drat. Versatile player, looking to show that for the rest of the summer. The 2-0. Bush will take a strike, 2-1. This K-Drat squad is usually a pretty free-swinging squad. And you wonder how long they'll be without Andy Vega for the near, immediate, and potential future. As the 2-1 to Bush is cut on and missed. Pulled the string out from under that one, and he swings and misses 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Robles standing at third for the K-Drats. 7-1, they lead here in the top of the 7th inning. They lead by 6 over the East LA Dodgers. The pitch is low, ball 3. That'll be the questions after this one. What will be the aftermath of the first inning brawl between the K-Drats and the Dodgers? Ejecting both teams' number 3 hole hitters. Infield starters as Bush swings and misses for out number 3. Out in front as Harney gets the third out, strands the K-Drat runner. Robles at third works around a 2-route error, and they lead 7-1 to the K-Drats heading to the bottom of the 7th inning. And here's Yamamoto stepping in for the 7th inning, getting ready to go for his longest outing in a K-Drats uniform on the K-Drats Audio Network. Bruce Yamamoto back in for the bottom of the 7th inning. 7-1 K-Drats here in the bottom of the 7th as Yamamoto's first pitch to Cunningham is a strike. Breaking ball, 0-1. Top of the Dodgers order up, looking to make one last-ditch effort at a comeback as we reach the final hour of sun in play as Cunningham chops it to first. Rawling fields it cleanly on 3 hops and steps on the bag unassisted for the first out of the inning. 17 in a row retired by Yamamoto. Cunningham, Morales, and Rodriguez as Morales flew out to right and struck out looking. Yamamoto with the pitch. That one's popped straight up and back and out of play for a strike, 0-1. Nobody's reached since a Dickinson 2-out single in the first. 2 hits given up by Yamamoto. A home run to lead off the game to Cunningham. Dickinson, a 2-out single on a 3-2. As the 0-1 from Yamamoto misses up and in to Morales, 1-1. And since that, it's been all outs. Lots of strikeouts, easy outs, quick outs, all sorts of outs. But most importantly, he's been hurling zeros ever since in a 7-1 scoreline, which was close and tightly contested for a while, as Morales swings through the high heat, 1-2. Tomorrow's broadcast will start with first pitch approximately at 11 a.m. at Clark Field. The K-Drats ending their longest road stretch of the early part of the summer as Yamamoto's 1-2 popped up foul, and this one gets out of play. Tomorrow will start at 11 a.m. on Facebook Live. We'll have all the technical difficulties sorted out, and I believe we're good to go for tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., between the same two squads. The Cage-Rats and the East LA Dodgers square off for the second of 3 matchups. Here's the pitch. That one's chopped right to short. Ramirez gets a high hop, has to fire it quickly to first, and the shortstop retires his counterpart for the other end. And there's 2 outs now here in the 7th inning. As here's now Sam Rodriguez from Castleton University. Now catching in for Nieto, those 2 flip spots in terms of one just hitting, the other one catching. Rodriguez, who came in for Jesus Sanchez, the ejected third baseman for the East LA Dodgers. As Rodriguez takes a ball 1-0. Was basically an EH until he came in to catch. In his time against Yamamoto, he's 0-2. Struck out swinging, grounded out, and here's his third appearance, and way behind again as he fouls it back 1-1. Yamamoto now with 18 in a row retired. It's basically 6 innings worth of work. We're not even a walk, hit by a pitch, an error, nobody. It's been clean defense, no offense. As Rodriguez, behind on the fastball, fouls it back 1-2. I would assume this will be Yamamoto's last inning, regardless of how quickly he can dispatch of Rodriguez. But looking for 19 in a row to end his outing. The 1-2 misses inside, 2-2. He's got 9 strikeouts. Looking for double digits for the second consecutive outing. 2-2, misses low, 3-2. The count runs full. And the stretch of hitters retired in a row comes up to this final moment. The 3-2 to Rodriguez. 2 out, nobody on here in the 7th. Nobody for the Dodgers has reached since the first. 3-2. That one's chopped foul down the third base line. Robles, who was looking to play the hop, had it go between his legs, but just hooking beyond the third base bag to the left of it, foul. So they get to do it one more time. Rodriguez doing his best to stay with it and foul it off. 3-2. We'll see if he's shortening up or if he's swinging long. No, not one bit. Keeping his hands on the knob of the bat. Yamamoto. 3-2. That one's popped up. Broken bat. Ramirez right there makes the catch for out number 3. 19 in a row for Yamamoto, as we believe his day is done after 7 with 9 strikeouts. Dominant outing for Bruce Yamamoto. 7-1 heading to the top of the 8th. The Cage-Rats up by 6, looking for more, as Yamamoto with his longest outing in the Cage-Rat uniform and arguably his most dominant here on the Cage-Rats Audio Network. Top of the 8th inning at the St. Pius X and St. Matthias Academy in Downey, California, home to the East LA Dodgers for this Sunset League summer. It's the K-Drats leading 7-1, up by 6. Here as we head to the top of the 8th. Yamamoto, 7 innings, 19 in a row retired, and Calix Armijo lifts it to deep left field. This one will hit the wall, and Armijo will keep at first with a loud single, and they will backpick him at first base. He scampered too far off the bag, and Gomez threw it to first. Hernandez tags him out. Armijo thought he had a home run, hits the top of the netting, and then as he gets his first hit of the day, Armijo is backpicked at first base. And if you could hear that in the crowd, Mike, he thought he was a lot closer to the bag. So Armijo as now this is Matt Macias who is scheduled to hit. So Rawlings must hit for Armijo. So Armijo gets a single, and then it goes 7-4-2, 7-4-3 for the out. Here's Rawlings, who was going to get pinch hit for, but since he can't re-enter, he will stay in at first base with 1 out and nobody on after Armijo hits the third farthest ball of the day, and that's an out. Here's Rawlings, who steps up to the box as the K-Drats lead by 6. Thought they had a hit and maybe a double, and instead he has to come back and come up with nobody on against Ryan Harney, who's still pitching. That was the first hit he's given up, but it still turns into an out. The wily righty fires in a first pitch strike to Rawlings, and that's 0-1. The two heroes for the K-Drats today have been the likes of Kostopoulos, as Rawlings swings and misses 0-2 with a pair of RBIs, a couple of runs scored, and a couple of hits. You have Yamamoto, who's gone 7 innings, given up 1 run, retired 19 in a row as Rawlings pokes it 1 hop to second. Gomez on the run, fires to first, and 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning. As here comes Zach Sarando, who in his last plate appearance reached on an error from the pitcher, which was Joseph Estrada. And the third and final, maybe most important factor in this one has been the 6 errors, from my count, committed by the Dodgers that have led to a whole slew of unearned runs. First pitch fastball to Sarando is a strike, 0-1. It's Sarando, Ramirez, and Enriquez. But Sarando with 1-1, takes low in the dirt. That skips to the backstop, 2-1. Harney's done a good couple of innings here today, but you wonder who will be available for the Dodgers tomorrow. They have a whole roster of guys who didn't show up today, so you would expect them to be probably in the lineup or show up tomorrow on the road, depending on how things play out. As Sarando, the 2-1, a fastball for a strike, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Harney looking for a second scoreless inning in relief. The third Dodgers pitcher of the evening. Sarando swings and misses. Harney gets his second strikeout. Unorthodox 1-2-3 inning as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. 7-1, K-Drats lead. And I think there's a new pitcher on the mound. We'll confirm that in just a moment. But the K-Drats lead by 6 runs on the K-Drats Audio Network. Bottom of the 8th inning, Cage-Rats lead 7-1 over the East LA Dodgers. 6 outs away. New pitcher on the mound for the Cage-Rats is Jason Bush out of Carlsbad, California. First pitch misses upstairs to Zach Dickinson for a ball, 1-0. Bruce Yamamoto went 7 innings, gave up only a couple of hits, retired 19 in a row, and struck out 9 as Dickinson swings and fouls off that last pitch, but it gets a piece of Sarando, who's been busy behind the dish today. 1-1 the count. Bush, who played ball at New Mexico State, just wrapped up his career over there with the Aggies. A kinesiology major as he steps in with the 1-1. Fastball blown past the bat of Dickinson, 1-2. Throwing some serious heat from the right side. Listed as a catcher, but as you've seen sometimes, being a catcher with big velo can turn into a professional pitching career, as Bush, working directly from the stretch. The 1-2 misses in the dirt, but still some serious heat. 2-2. Dickinson, Nieto, and Hernandez. 4, 5, and 6 to up for the Dodgers. 2-2. That's called strike 3. That's 20 in a row retired for Cage-Rat pitching, and Bush simply comes in, pops a strike at the corner, and that catches Dickinson looking. First time he's gone down looking on strikes, and the first out here in the 8th. 20 in a row retired between Yamamoto and now Bush. First pitch, a strike to Nieto, 0-1. Today he's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. It was a nice battle against Yamamoto in the 5th, fouling pitch after pitch off, and on the 3-2 he finally grounded out as he skies the 0-1 foul and out of play. 0-2. Had one of his strongest starts to his season did Bush back in 2020 with a .283 batting average before the season was cut short after 14 games or so, as Nieto takes a fastball not even above his head, but way above his head. You had to climb 2 ladders, as would have I, to even attempt to swing at that one. 1-2 the count. Ended this season with a .213 batting average, as another piece of Sarando is taken after Nieto takes a vicious 2-strike hack, but it gets a good piece of Sarando, who's been taking a beating today behind the dish. But here is Bush getting a chance on the mound, getting to pitch. Throwing some serious high heat. 2 strikes, breaking ball, and that's pulled foul by Nieto. Quick hands, quick adjustment to see that breaking ball out of the hand of Bush and say, all right, let's make sure we foul that one off down the first base line. 7-1. Dodgers trailing by 6, looking to complete a late rally comeback as we near less than 40 minutes of daylight. 1-2, misses upstairs, 2-2. Cage-Rats 5-3 this year in Sunset League play, looking for their 6th win overall and their would be their 2nd road victory, 2nd one this week. If they can get one, as Bush misses outside, 3-2 after misfiring with the last 2 fastballs. Three and 2. That one's well upstairs for ball 4. The first base runner to reach for the East LA Dodgers since 2 outs in the first inning. 20 in a row retired. But now here they are, the first time they've taken ball 4. It's been a home run, a single, and nothing else until right then as Nieto trots over to first base with a well-earned walk with 1 out. Here's the first baseman, Hernandez, who takes a fastball upstairs, 1-0. Nieto, Hernandez, then Gomez on deck, as Hernandez can't catch up to the fastball there. 1-1. I would seriously doubt that they would send Nieto with that short of a lead. Just looking to get base runners. Hernandez ropes it, and that drops in for a base hit to left field. That's misplayed by Ayala. Rolls to the wall, loses it in the sunlight. That's beating down right in his eyes. Misplays it, and it's now second and third. So a single for Hernandez, and now maybe the Dodgers are in business here. So second and third, one out. Here's Delvin Gomez looking to score potentially the second or maybe third runs of the game for the Dodgers. And a base hit gets them right back in it, down by 6, with a pair of runners on in scoring position. Hernandez a good piece of hitting, and Gomez takes outside 1-0. The new addition to the K-Drats looking to make his biggest impact in day 1 of play with the K-Drats. Here about 10 games into the season. 9 in official Sunset League play as Bush misses upstairs 2-0. Don't want to load the bases and give the Dodgers any hope. Although the bottom 4 of the order are combined 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts as Gomez takes low 3-0. Flew out to center and struck out swinging back in the 5th against Yamamoto. Completely different ball game now with him taken out. That's how all the fun begins. You take out the starter that's cruising, and then maybe someone who's a little bit wild gives the other team some life as Bush takes a little off the fastball but fires it for a strike, 3-1. 1 out, 2 on at second and third. Gomez, as far back in the box as you can be, swings and misses 3-2. To be quite honest, I'm not entirely sure he's in the box. That's the lines, the chalk is completely gone. All the batters and kicking it over and all the slides and plays at home plate. It's gone, but here's the 3-2. And that's struck out and missed. Sarando's going to have to throw to first, and he doesn't, so Gomez reaches on a strikeout. Sarando thought he had it in his glove. It pops out, and Gomez sees it, hustles to first. Sarando, with the runner still running to first. In Gomez, I thought he had plenty of time. Now, Joe Magno, frustrated, comes to the mound. Bases loaded after a pass ball on a drop third strike as Magno is fired up and yelling at Sarando. Bases loaded. 1 out. As Sarando, I think, has a broken catcher's glove, is what was the reason why it kicked out. He thought he had it in the glove, and it pops out. As Sarando is actually being replaced by Rowan Dupre. So Dupre called in relief defensively as Joe Magno displeased with that effort from Sarando. Dupre coming in, and the K-Drats up by 6, bases loaded, 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Dupre in for Sarando, who just struck out swinging in the top of the 8th, so his spot won't be up for quite a while. But Dupre comes in. I think he was either warming someone up or just at the end of the bench, and then Coach Magno said, nope, you're in. So Dupre steps in a big spot. You have Bush, who hasn't exactly been hitting the zone, but did get a strikeout, but it was dropped by Sarando, who caught it, had it pop out of the glove, took his time to pick it up, and didn't even throw to first. But it's the bases loaded after the drop third strike. 1 out in a 7-1 game here in the 8th. Up steps Perez, and he takes low ball 1. So here's Dupre, who's been warming up pitchers in the bullpen all day, but has to be ready to go with a flamethrower in Bush, but a little erratic to start in his first appearance. But fires in a fastball at the knees for a strike, 1-1. That's what you needed. The sun setting. Just when the drama begins. Time running out. Outs running out. And that one plunks Perez. The grimace on the face. That did not feel good, but he forces in a run. It's now 7-2. Bases still loaded. And only one out. Scoring is Nieto. To third is Hernandez. As now Gomez goes to second. Plunking Perez. And now it's Google. With bases loaded. Still one out. As Google steps up 0 for 2. And right as you're thinking of, oh, there's 20 in a row retired, then quickly an inning begins of drama. As Google takes a first pitch fastball for a strike. Struck out looking in his last AB. Game's nearing 3 hours long. Of course, a 30-minute delay in the first. That one hits the knob of the bat. Bush flips to home plate, and Owen Dupre steps on the plate for out number 2. It was a check swing by Google, but it hit the knob near the hands, and it went in play. Awake on the mound was Bush, who ran up, picked it up, flipped it to Dupre, and that's out number 2. But the base is still loaded. No run scores. As reaching is Google, and now here's Smith, the DH. If he can reach, then that would bring up the tying run in the form of Cunningham on deck, who already has a home run. That would be the ultimate drama of the day. Smith takes the fastball for a strike, 0-1. 7-2 now. 2 outs, bases loaded, bottom 8, so still 4 outs to play with. But the biggest threat so far all game long for East LA. Bush fires and misses low, 1-1. The one guy who can burn you standing on deck. You'd rather him step up to the plate in a 5-run game with nobody on. But he's the one guy that took Yamamoto deep. The 1-1. Big swing and a miss. Good rip by Smith, but comes up empty. 1-2 as Bush 1 strike away from getting out of the inning, which he thought he might have been out of already after striking out Gomez, but he reached on the pass ball and the drop third strike. 1-2 from Bush. That one's chopped slowly to short. Ramirez has to hurry, and he boots it at shortstop. And now Armijo looks to apply the late tag as he fields the ball. Advancing to second was Google, who took a step off. Perez goes to third. Scoring is Gomez. Base is loaded. 2 outs. And now up steps Michael Cunningham. 7-3 now. Tying run at the plate with 2 outs in the 8th. Bush misses low, 1-0. He got the first out with the strikeout of Dickinson, a backwards K. Then walk, hit, reach on a drop third strike, hit by a pitch, and then an error at short by Ramirez. And the 1-0 is a fastball called for a strike on the inside corner, 1-1 to Cunningham, who might be standing so close to the plate he had to jump out of the way of that one, but it's a called strike, 1-1. Bases loaded, tying run at the plate. 7-3 with 2 outs in the 8th inning. Slowly rolled to third. That's fielded by Robles. Fires to first, and it's thrown away. 1 run scores. Another one scores. Going to third is Smith. It's now 7-5. 7-5. Joe Magno asking for time to go talk to the umpire and talk to the second base umpire, who they're complaining about interference getting in the way of Robles. And then he threw it to first. I think Cunningham actually would have beat that out to first base. But the throwaway allows a runner to score. So the second error of the inning for the Cage Rats. And now the tying runs on base here with 2 outs in a 7-5 game in what might become a meltdown if the Cage-Rats can't hold on to this lead. So a single for Cunningham, but also an error at third from Robles. Scoring are Perez and Gugale, making it 7-5. It's first and third, 2 outs. Here in the 8th, Bush now battling against Morales. Bottom of the 8th, 2 outs. Tying run is at first base, and we'll see if East LA decides to send the runner Cunningham. As it's Rowan Dupre behind home plate, the new catcher, with Bush, the new pitcher in the inning, battling against it. Cunningham not going. That one's chopped foul down the third base line. Hard swing from Morales, who's 0 for 3 today, out in front of it. It's 0-1. So Cunningham helps bring home 2 after beating out the throw to first and it also being thrown away. 7-5. What was once a 6-run lead is now a 2-run lead as Morales takes low 1-1. 1 ball and a strike. Tying run at first. Standing at third is Smith after reaching on an error. Still 2 outs here in the 8th. 2 in a row have reached after bobbles on the infield. And that one hits the knob of the bat again down the first base line. It's still fair. The throw is in time for out number 3 at first. Oh, wait, there's no call yet. What's the call? Is it an out? Is it safe? I think they called him out. There's no look. And there's the third out. So here we go. So 3 outs here in the 8th inning. 3 outs. That was popped on the knob of the bat. And more fireworks. More words exchanged. And now another Cage-Rat has been ejected. More Cage-Rats have been ejected after words were exchanged between East LA and the Cage-Rats. It's 7-5. It was a ball at the end of the knob. They threw it to first. He was out to end the 8th inning. And then another Cage-Rat ejected. The 4th player ejected today, and tempers are flaring heading to the 9th. So 3 outs heading to the 9th. It's now 7-5. Cage-Rats only lead by 2, and the drama continues. We'll step aside. A 2-run game now. 7-5 Cage-Rats here on the Cage-Rats Audio Network. Seven to 5 here in the top of the 9th inning. Zach Anderson Yoxheimer with you guys as the Cage-Rats lead by 2. They escape a jam, but another Cage-Rat has been ejected. It is Xavier Stewart's. as Jacob Ramirez is hit by a pitch on the first pitch to start the ninth. And it's now, and Ramirez reaches first. It's 7-5 Cage Rats. Up by 2. Ramirez hit by a pitch on the first pitch of the inning by Ryan Harney. And now frustrations may be starting to boil as the inning ended. There was confusion as to where the ball was put in play and whether the runner at first was safe, as Morales was close at first base, but he was called out. Ryan Harney came in here in the ninth, hit Ramirez with the first pitch. The Dodgers taking out Harney, as now here's Noah Nieto, who caught earlier. Now here he is coming cold off the bench to pitch. 2+ innings of shutout ball for Harney. As not only are we running out of time, we're running out of daylight, as the Cage Rats looking for more runs. Nieto coming cold off the bench. Xavier Stewart is exchanging words with the East LA coach, and the umpires immediately threw him out for barking back. That was the second Cage Rat to be thrown out for just yelling at the East LA coach. James Brandon ejected. Xavier Stewart ejected. Andy Vega, way back in the first inning, also ejected in the brawl that started between him and Jesus Sanchez, the one and lone East LA Dodger that's been thrown out. So for the confusion, it was a ground out to end the inning with the tying runs on base on a confusing call where neither umpire really made a definitive call, at least from my vantage point. And then another guy was rung up and hung up to dry in Xavier Stewart. But first, the leadoff runner and Noah Nieto on the mound, and a back pick of Ramirez, as I think the first pitch to Jonathan Enriquez misses for a ball. It's Enriquez, Ayala, and Francois, 1, 2, and 3 in the Cage Rat lineup. Check on Ramirez at first as Nieto, the new pitcher, steps in. Harney lasts all of one batter in the ninth. Goes 2+, hits Ramirez, maybe skimmed the back of his jersey. The Cage Rats lead by 2. Enriquez crushes one to left center. That one is going to roll to the wall. Gets one to hammer. They're going to send Ramirez, and it rolls under the wall. Enriquez would have been running for days. Speed between Ramirez and Enriquez, but it rolls under the wall for a ground rule double. Second and third as Nieto cold off the bench, leaves one hanging, and Enriquez promptly bangs it to left center for his first hit of the day and a double. Second and third, nobody out. Here's Joe Ayala in a 2-run game. 7-5, nobody out in the ninth. The Cage Rats looking for more insurance after they've wasted what was more of a run. As a runner at third, and Enriquez ran to third, and nobody's throwing it to second. Enriquez gets all the way back to second. Enriquez stole third, only to have Ramirez standing at third. Nobody realized that there was nobody covering the bag at second, so he runs all the way back to second without even getting tagged out. The Dodgers had a break, and they did not get it. A base-running blunder by Enriquez as he stole third with his teammate occupying third, but still gets back to second safely. This game has been an adventure. Ayala takes low, 2-0. Not sure I've seen that. Steal third with the teammate already standing on the base, and steal second. Basically stole 2 bases going back and forth on the same play. I wonder what you score that as Ayala pops it up into shallow left. Ramirez is going to tag. Here's the throw from Dickinson. Instead, it just draws a throw. A 2-hopper to home plate as Ramirez stays at third. And a pop-up from Ayala is the first out of the inning. 1 out, still second and third. Here's Julien Francois with the base hit to his credit. So Joe Magno is having an offensive timeout, telling Enriquez, Ramirez, and Francois to all come talk to him. You have Francois, who has a couple of bunt base hits to his credit. You have the 3 fastest Cage Rats all coming up together in a trio between Ramirez, Enriquez, and Francois. So the common theme would be, all right, maybe we go for a suicide squeeze of some sort. Maybe you send both runners, look to score 2 runs and get Francois to bunt it. Or maybe you play a little fake squeeze, slap it, and then score two, drawing the corner infielders in. You wonder. But with just a missed sign a moment ago, you wonder how much you can trust the Cage Rats base running. But I think Enriquez is good to go at second base. So Ramirez stands at third, Enriquez at second. Francois steps in already with a base knock and earning a walk, and stealing a base and scoring. So for Francois, he's 1 for 2. Second and third, one out. Infield is coming in. Francois takes up and in as he was squaring to bunt. Nieto wasn't helping his defense out as he pitched as soon as the infield was running up. Everything out of sorts here in the ninth inning. But that's been that way since first pitch. Francois. He takes a strike inside 1-1. So we'll see if that offensive timeout for Joe Magno goes or not. They thought about bunting, and now Francois looking to beat the drawn-in infield. Hopper to Gomez. Instead, they throw to first to retire Francois. Gomez eyes Ramirez back to second. Enriquez makes sure he doesn't run Ramirez off the bag. So quickly, 2 outs here in the ninth, and the Dodgers have allowed no runs as of yet. Ramirez can't tag up, and he couldn't score. They weren't going on contact with the drawn-in infield. 2 out, 2 on. Here's Tito Robles looking for a big hit. Takes inside, but a great catch by Sam Rodriguez for a ball, 1-0. Nieto working from the line now. Robles lines it to right center. This one will get down, and this will score 2. Cage Rats now lead 9-5. Robles gets a 2 RBI single, driving home Ramirez and Enriquez, pushing their lead back up to 4, despite some adventurous base running. And the Cage Rats dugout fired up as they lead by 4 now. Ramirez scores, Enriquez scores. Perfectly placed for Robles as he gets a base knock. RBIs with 2 outs in 2 consecutive games. Here's Matt Kostopoulos as he hammers it foul towards the Cage Rat dugout. And that's just a strike, 0-1. Robles poking it perfectly into right center. As we've now reached the 3-hour plus mark in this one. First, the 0-1 plunks Kostopoulos. It's now first and second as Kostopoulos got hit in the awkward side of his left side of the body. First and second. 2 outs as Kostopoulos gets plunked. Kostopoulos in a little bit of pain as Joe Magno goes to check up on him. Robles to second. Kostopoulos at first. Magno making sure he's okay. Kostopoulos waves him off, says, "I'm good to go." So first and second, 2 outs. Magno having a chat with the home plate umpire, and they look to be in good spirits as he just explains the reasoning for why he checked up on Kostopoulos. So he reaches for the 3rd time today, but here's Jason Bush. First and second, 2 outs, 2 on, 9-5 with 2 runs in. The Cage Rats have added 2 to their lead. Jason Bush looking to reach. For the 2nd time today, he walked. And he swings and misses well out in front of the pitch. 0-1 from Nieto. Walked against Estrada. And then he crushes it and puts it into shallow center. And it drops in for a base hit. They're sending Robles. The throw home is going to be close. And Cunningham throws out Robles at the plate to end the inning. A bloop single to center. But Bush can't cash home the run. As for the 2nd time today, Cunningham throws out another Cage Rat at the plate. It's 9-5 heading to the bottom of the 9th. We've got about not too much time of daylight left. 3 outs, or about 22 minutes of sun that we can play with. 9-5 Cage Rats heading to the bottom of the 9th inning on the Cage Rats Audio Network. 3 outs away are the Cage Rats from ending this fireworks-filled affair as it's Jacob Ramirez to close things out for the Rats. Bottom of the ninth inning, Zach Anderson, Yoxheimer with you guys. The K-Drats lead 9-5 over the East LA Dodgers. A tightly and hotly contested affair between two squads here in the Sunset League. The 5-3 K-Drats against the 1-4-1 bottom-dwelling East LA Dodgers, but they haven't played like it today. Here's Jacob Ramirez looking to close the door here today and get the final 3 outs, which have been sometimes an adventure. As the first pitch misses low, 1-0 to Sam Rodriguez, ball 1. It's 3, 4, and 5 for the Dodgers looking to score 4 as Rodriguez swings and fouls that pitch back, 1-1. Sunset is at 8:07, and that's about 19 minutes from now. So we'll see how much these teams can play, how much longer, as Ramirez, who was playing it short, comes into pitch as Rodriguez takes low, ball 2. Ramirez has some good pitching capabilities. This is about the 3rd or 4th time he's pitched this week. Francois moves from right to short as Ramirez pops the 2-1 and misses 3-1 as Dupre can't squeeze it, and the umpire doesn't give them the strike. It's now 3-1. I'm not sure who's in right field for the K-Drats, but there's some sort of switches. There is a new right fielder as Rodriguez takes low, ball 4. The adventure begins. The time, the outs, and the score all playing against the Dodgers here at home. And here comes Zach Dickinson, one of 3 Dodgers with a base hit today. They need 2 more to reach before they can bring up the tying run to the plate as Ramirez, who closed out the game Thursday against the Trotsky Redbirds, held up a 1-run lead, looking to hold up 4 runs today, but might be a little gassed by the end of the week. Misses low, 1-0 to Dickinson. Nine 5 as Ramirez checks on Rodriguez at first, currently catching. The starting catcher, Nieto, who is now pitching, is standing on deck, who's put in some good ABs today. Dickinson pops it to left center, or make that to center, and that one drops in for a base hit. Dickinson with 2, drops in a bloop single, now 2 on for the Dodgers here in the 9th. First and second with 1 out as Dickinson bloops it into shallow center. Enriquez and Francois both couldn't come and make the play as Bush goes into right field to play some defense after he comes in on the mound, goes to right. So Bush goes from the bench as the extra hitter to the mound as the pitcher, and now to right field as the right fielder. Here's Noah Nieto with nobody out and the tying run on deck. And the first pitch from Ramirez misses low and away, 1-0. This game has been close to 3 hours and 20 minutes long. And the Sunset League, well, it's coming those up, fouls it back, 1-2. Ramirez 1 pitch away from getting the first out of the inning, or what he could get is a double play that would really kill the rally. 9-5, Dodgers trail this Rat squad by 4. Both teams pick it up again tomorrow at 11 a.m. in Long Beach. Won't be short for words and excitement and anger and frustration, all the things around today's contest, as Nieto lines it into center field. That drops in for a base hit in front of Enriquez. It's now bases loaded, nobody out for the Dodgers. The tying run up for them, 9-5, as the K-Drats had a runner thrown out at home plate in Tito Robles after a bloop single from Jason Bush. They thought they could have scored the run, but Robles thrown out at home plate to end the top of the 9th. The K-Drats have had 2 runners thrown out at home plate. The Dodgers have committed 6 errors today. And here we are with the tying run at the plate here in the 9th inning. I'm not fresh on the rules of what happens once sundown officially happens, once we're out of daylight. But it is 7:52, and from what I checked, sunset is officially at 8:07. And here we are in Sunset League play. What seems to be 2 rivals, regardless of the records and what ways they're playing. Coming in today, here's Robert Hernandez, the first baseman. One of the 3 Dodgers who have a base hit today. Bases loaded, nobody out, tying run at the plate. Ramirez skips the first pitch to home plate, 1-0. It's Hernandez, Gomez, and Perez. It was Hernandez stranded at third when Cunningham came up in the bottom of the 8th inning as the tying run before he reached on an infield single, and the 1-0 misses low 2-0. And Ramirez, not throwing strikes, walked the hitter, and after one single, gave up another. Bases loaded, nobody out. Big situation here. And Ramirez pops the glove for a 2-0 strike, 2-1. Ramirez, set in the stretch, comes home with it. And Hernandez fouls it straight back, 2-2. What we thought would be a quiet Saturday afternoon into evening here in Downey has been anything but. A brawl in the first inning that led to 3 ejections. We've had a total of 4. Andy Vega and Jesus Sanchez, both number 3 hole hitters, ejected. One more player, James Brandon, ejected. Then Xavier Stewart just ejected after the 8th inning. As Hernandez pops up the 2-strike pitch into left field. Right there is Ayala who makes the catch. They fake the tag going home. Rodriguez, a wry smile, knowing there's no way I'm going to tag up and go home. But 1 out as there's 2 outs away for the Cage Rats to get the final out. So here's Delvin Gomez, still as the tying run with 1 out now. Here in the bottom of the 9th inning, 9-5. Looking to clear the bases. He takes a fastball for a strike, 0-1. He had the key at bat in that 8th inning just not too long ago where he struck out swinging, but a pass ball allowed him to reach on a drop third strike, and that extended the inning. Gomez swings and I think tips into the glove, 0-2, and now Ramirez in a rhythm after getting that first out here the 9th. 9-5. Not sure if Gomez or even Perez on deck have the pop to hit it out, but just a bases clearing double would do the trick. And Gomez hits it off his foot in play. That's got to hurt, but still 2 strikes against Gomez, and here he's got to hit. Step off the pane, down 0-2 in the count, shake it off, and here you are in a big spot in the 9th. 9-5. Ramirez might go breaking ball here, 0-2. Fastball pops straight up. This isn't a shallow left center. Francois can't find it. Ayala will come in and drop the ball. They have a play at third. The throw from Enriquez is in time to get the out at third. All the runners had to hold up. Dickinson was hosed at third on a force out on the throw from Enriquez, saving the play. Ayala, Francois come in off the glove of Ayala, and Enriquez a strike to third, and Robles gets the force out at third. 1 run comes in to score. The tying run still at the plate as a 7-8-5 putout gets the Cage Rats 1 out away. And now the runner, Nieto, is kind of pick off, and he's picked off at third. Ramirez faked the throw to second. Nieto thought he was picked off. Then he was picked off. They throw to third. Nieto is hosed, and the game is done. 9-6 is the final as the Cage Rats end this one in thrilling fashion. And it only would be in a fitting way that the runner would be picked off in some sort of crazy way that this game would end with the 7-8-5 put out and the runner being picked off with the tying run at the plate. That this game would not end in the easiest of regularity of any sort of ways. It's 9-6. Game is over. The Cage Rats win it. And I have no words after the end of what was nearly 3.5 hours of baseball, 10 minutes before sunset. And the Cage Rats win it 9-6, holding on by the skin of their teeth. 9-6, Ramirez allowed the first 3 to reach after a walk, 2 hits, a drop pop-up into left field, nearly made the inning adventurous, and they survived today to advance and get the win today. They're 6-3 of the Dodgers now, 1-5-1. Oh, and what do we got tomorrow? Same two teams going at it toe-to-toe. 11 a.m. first pitch in Long Beach at Clark Field. We'll have that game live on Facebook Live. We'll have that stream on around 10:30 or so. We'll come up first pitch approximately 11 a.m. 3.5 hours of baseball today. Let's go do it again tomorrow. K-Drats win this one 9-6. Let's get you a quick recap of what happened. First inning, Andy Vega reaches on a 2-out error by the third baseman, Jesus Sanchez. What's interesting about that? If he doesn't reach, then maybe none of the craziness happens. But those two players would tangle up at third after Andy steals third base. Some words were exchanged. One player accuses one of one thing, the other player accuses another of something else, and then punches were thrown, blood was drawn, bench is clear, 3 were ejected at the moment, and then chaos ensues after the Dodgers get an early lead, 1-0 after a home run from Michael Cunningham on the first pitch from Bruce Yamamoto. He embellishes his way around the bases as the Dodgers took an early lead, but then Yamamoto goes through 7 innings, gives up 1 run, strikes out 9, and retires 19 in a row before heading out after 7 strong innings. K-Drats tied up with a home run from Kostopoulos in the second at 1. Dylan Chalmers, the reigning Sunset League Pitcher of the Week, box home the go-ahead run 2-1 in the 4th inning before they bring in Joseph Estrada, who could not throw a strike to save his life in the 2 innings that he pitched and was extremely erratic. About 5 walks and 2 hit-by pitches to 2 K-Drats. The K-Drats broke it open 7-1. Then in the 8th inning, things got interesting once Yamamoto was taken out. Some errant K-Drat defense, a couple of errors, a pass ball allows 3 to come in to score, make that 4 to come in to score for the Dodgers, making things interesting. They had a tying run at the plate. He reaches after the ball was thrown away. They had the go-ahead run at the plate. The second straight hitter gets the bat off the knob, and a close play results in the out in the 8th inning, but another K-Drat got ejected, which was Xavier Stewart, after more words were exchanged. The 4th player total ejected, even though the 2 head coaches verbally attacking one another in between the first fracas and the last one. Then in the 9th inning, the K-Drats add 2 more runs before having 1 thrown at the plate, the second time in the game that both players had runners thrown at home plate to end the 9th. The Dodgers get 3 in a row to start the 9th, but cannot complete the comeback, and some crazy plays. A ball dropped in left field, but the force out at third gets the second out, and Ramirez picks off Nieto in between second and third to end the game with the tying run at the plate to end it. The Dodgers drop to 1-5-1 overall. They'll come back tomorrow to Long Beach, and the K-Drats improve to 6-3 on the K-Drats Audio Network. Yamamoto gets the win. That is his 3rd win of the summer. He's 3-0, his longest and maybe most impressive outing with the heat on him and the heat on from the strained emotional responses for both sides. Dylan Chalmers, last week's Sunset Player of the Week, or Pitcher of the Week, he gets the loss here today. Ramirez and Bush combined to close it out in 2 adventurous innings on the mound. And the K-Drats win this one by a final of 9-6. For everybody with the K-Drats, I'm Zach Anderson-Yoxhammer saying, good night. I need some rest. I'll talk with you guys tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. sharp in Long Beach at Clark Field. These 2 teams duke it out again on the K-Drats Broadcasting Network.